Hello and welcome. This is European Women Club Cup. We arrived to the finals. So I am Women Grandmaster Ket Tasalashvili. This is Grandmaster Martin Tosbury.
Hello.
And we're very happy to be here in the finals and to see the most exciting games among 10 best teams.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
So we'll have the round robin today and tomorrow, 9 rounds. Every team will face each team.
mhm.
So it will be quite a fair tournament, I believe, and the winner will be actually the best team.
Best team indeed. It is worth to mention that one of the best team in the lineups and also the first ranked team is the host team Monte Carlo, which is the home of women chess, and they
Yes,
support women a lot in chess. They are the organizers of the event together with ECU.
Exactly. So the Club Cup is played under the huge patronage of Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco.
Mhm.
So, and actually, they are making the tournaments, big tournaments, since already 1993, I believe, even more.
Mhm.
So every time it's a great honor to have them as organizers.
Indeed, and the tournament, as you mentioned, is under the patronage and under
Yep.
the eye of the royal family. And we have the beautiful cup, also named after
Princess
the
Charlene's
princess. Yes.
Cup.
So yeah, we can talk a little bit about itself. The club Monte Carlo, they have won 7 times this exact championship, Women Club Cup. And it was back in 2007, 8, 10, 12, 13, 16 and 2018. And I think
They
also
will,
plan to
yeah,
win this one and keep the
this
cup.
year.
Yes.
So the main sponsors are Casino de Monte Carlo and Société Bain de Mer.
Principal sponsor is Ina Bezanova
Yeah.
from the Art newspaper. And yeah, Monte Carlo, Monaco is the house of women chess, as we can see now on the photo. You can recognize many world champions, former world champions, and there were a couple of Grand Prix held in Monaco. One was in 2015, and here we had the photo from there, and this tournament happened in the casino itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I had this opportunity to see the room, and it is so magical. I would love to
believe.
play once there. Another tournament happened in 2019, just 1 year ago. Yet 1 year ago, the tournament was won by Alexandra Kostyunik, and she also managed to win European Rapid and Blitz tournament, European Rapid tournament in 2019.
Yeah, we also had a world championship match between Xiun and Nana Yoseliani in 1993 as well.
Mhm.
So as you can see, even the most important matches were played.
Yeah, and among the pictures now we can see former world women champion Hou Yifan, who is still number 1 in the world, and no one can really approach her or replace her.
Yep.
And also we see the captain of Monte Carlo team, Almira Skripchenko. And you see a lot of photos of Anna Muzichuk.
Yeah,
She was 5 times playing for Monaco, and she won 5 gold medals with the team. Nowadays she plays with Kiev,
Kiev
her
Chess Federation.
hometown. Yeah, and Almira and Pia Kramnik, legendary chess player, won it 7 times. So it means that they played 7 times and they won 7 gold medals.
And still they want to win even more with the same team. Today she's also in the lineup.
Yeah, and one last information about Monaco and Monte Carlo. The tournament, this tournament, Women Club Cup, will held in Monaco next year, 2021. I really hope we're gonna see
Over the board
over the
tournament.
board, and one more event in the home of women chess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the games already started.
Maybe let's take a look at the cross table and the
yes, we have to do
lineups
that.
of the round number 1. So cross table. So here we have the lineups for the first round of the round robin of the final stage. So actually you can read all the names of the players now.
Actually, all of them are titled.
Yeah.
All of them are titled.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
The host club Monte Carlo, you can see on the top, is facing Poland Hussars.
Yeah, exactly.
Alexandra Goryachkina will play Jolanta Zawadzka on the first board. Pia Kromling will play Alicia Śliwicka. Elizabeth Pat against Julia Antolak, and Monika Sochko against Claudia. So here we have two Polish players playing
Yeah,
each other.
exactly. They are friends. They are
Yeah.
teammates from the national team. So, but it happens, right? You have to be prepared to play against even your best friend or some friends of yours.
Yeah, in the first group we have experienced title players.
Yeah,
In the second group we have
youngsters
young,
actually.
young talented players who have bright future, I guess. So this is the first match, and the second match we have Kiev Chess Federation Club Greco, and here we have Muzyczuk sisters first to second place, Julia Osmak and Natalia Buksa. They're playing against Tremblay and France. This is the team from France, and
At the first board, Tohirionova, then Naninja, Dauletova, and Muminova. So actually, of course, Kiev team average rating is much higher, but still, all of the French team members are women grandmasters. So it's
Yeah.
not a coincidence that
yes,
it will be
exactly.
a very nice match, of course.
I've scrolled down a little bit to social media yesterday, and
Yep.
on Facebook I looked at Sarah Hadem from Iran, who plays in
Cliché
Cliché.
Deshek.
She was so happy with her performance. Her rating can you guess what was her rating performance yesterday? She
have
won
any
all
clue.
the games and made one draw.
All right, so 2900.
27, very
All
close. 27, and she was very happy, and she was very happy too.
I would also be very happy to have such a performance even after
Yes.
one day.
Yes, and she tagged her teammate, former world champion Alexandra Kostyunik,
Brilliant.
to wish good luck to
So
her team.
today her team Klischy Czech will play against Schwäbisch Hall from Germany. And also we have Gambit Volgograd against Odlar Yurdu and Jugra team against Hello Shak.
We have to go to the games
To
because
the
they
games,
maybe
right.
finished already, some of them
Yeah,
at least.
so let's take a look at the games. All right, here we have the chessboard already. So Alexandra Goryachkina is playing white against Jolanta Zawadzka from Poland, so Russian against Polish player. And I believe white stands better because of the pawn structure. So the pawn on d6 maybe is already a weakness, and also it is easier for white to play the queen side to attack the pawns. Sort of the really minority attack, because a single pawn on a file may attack pawns on a and b. So if you play d5, then with black in such a position to protect the pawn, then you have to protect this pawn even after knight f4.
Yeah.
And then rook ab to a to b1, rook f to c1. So it's not very nice position for black, to be honest.
Yes, exactly. I like that position for black too, even though black has only one weakness on d6.
Yeah.
The
rook
black
f-
has two defense indeed
Yeah.
in this
Rook f to
position.
c8, and queen has to go to c6 now after rook ab to b1, and then to go to d5 or e4. Rook f to c1 for sure will be played, and queen d5, knight f4. So as you can see, there are already some troubles. Black
Yeah.
is in trouble. She cannot actually defend the pawn on d6 already.
Let's take a look at the second board, and here we have queen trade just happened. The final move of white was
Right,
queen g4, and now we expect h takes
Yeah,
g4 any
she
minute.
took back king e8 because there was some sort of knight c5 motives. I believe white's position is a little bit better. Of course, to convert it will be quite hard, but
Yeah.
still I believe white has an edge even after bringing king to the center, king f1, king e2, and then playing some sort of c5, even sacrificing a pawn. And then we will have a nice place on c4 for the knight.
Yeah.
The bishop is quite weak in that position, but on the other hand, almost all white pawns stand on light squares, so they don't limit the bishop yet.
Yeah, we see both players on the screen. Pia Cromling on the top, Alicia Slewska on the bottom.
So
I believe Alicia has a great future, and
For
I really
sure.
want her to continue chess as her main profession. Even though we know that she is studying in 2 universities at the same
two
time.
universities, one on actually nowadays both of them online, but she studies in Poland and in USA.
Yeah, exactly. Another board of the match. Here we have Elizabeth Pats against Julia Antolak.
Yes, exactly. Also a student already.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's hard for me to believe because I used to be the coach of the Polish national youth team, and both of them were playing there. And now they are already students, so that means I'm also getting older, which I don't like
what
actually.
worries you?
Which I don't like, I must say. But okay, let's take a look at the board. So how did it happen? How did the position happen?
We can take a look from the end.
From the very beginning. So c3, so the London style position. Bishop g5, so almost. And now, all right, white got rid of the pair of bishops, but on the other hand has the favored pawn structure. So these pawns are maybe weaknesses.
Also, at some point, the pawn
Yeah.
might be
A weakness one day.
weakness.
So what? The queen were traded, then long castle. So knight d6, very unpleasant move actually, because now if I take the bishop, so we can see both players now, quite focused as you can see.
Yeah.
And the problem is that I probably will have to play rook a to b8 just to protect the bishop. And now white may even take the knight with the knight on b7 and play king c2, for example. So there is no pair of bishops already, and still there are some weaknesses in black's camp. So
Yeah, this pawn really bothers me.
right, but I don't know whether it's okay, because now rook h to b8 at first, knight to d2, and
Oh, sorry.
right, no problem, of course. Knight d2 and knight a5. Knight to d2 protect.
Can I do like this?
Oh, you can, of course, and then
And
go to
after
d5
this
if
to
needed.
d5,
Yeah, you're
yes.
right. And then knight d2, rook a1. So white may try to do such a thing. That's why Julia Antolak is still thinking.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the position from
We
the
actually have something similar
almost.
here.
But here I believe it's a little bit better for Julia. But still, king c2 can be played. Simply protect the pawn on b3, rook h to d1. It's easier to play with white,
Yeah.
such a position.
What do you think here? How would you play? Would you take the bishop on here, or would you allow white to get on d5?
I would take it.
Yeah,
I would take it for
too.
sure, because I wouldn't like my knight to stand on a5. It should be then limited by the bishop.
Yeah.
But still, I believe white has an edge.
What I observe about Julia, she's the player who can achieve draw anytime she wants. That many players, including myself, don't have it. Yeah, that's what I observed about her. We can move to the next game, and here we have a Polish derby. Claudia plays with white colors against Monica.
They have already played dozens of games, so if they want to make a surprise, it's almost not possible, because even if they're playing the international competition, they sometimes share some notes just to prepare against the national team of different country. So it's very hard for them to, to trick each other. And I believe that black stands quite well.
Yeah.
Uh,
I worry the king
yeah, the king
is in the
still
center.
In the center.
And for example, if now black castles, then
yeah,
F5 might
knight
be
F6, queen F6.
immediately.
But now even very interesting position, to be honest. Oh, we can see Claudia and Monica. So both are really focused. They know each other very well, and still.
Yeah.
And now rook h to f1 may be played, and there are some problems with fg. And even after queen g5, I can try to take on g6. So there might be some tricks. Knight c4. Yep. So maybe this f1 idea is not that good, but still. Queen e7 and f5 immediately was played, and now I believe that Monica should try to play bishop f6. Oh, sorry, bishop f6.
Maybe she wants to play queen g5, or
Queen
it loses a pawn.
I believe that after fg it loses
Loses
a
a
pawn.
pawn, yeah.
But still, what happens after knight c4, then queen d3 maybe? It's also quite complex position, but here I believe that then I'll give a check on d7. So here, either h5, with the idea of g5, because after h5 there is a threat of bishop h6, yeah, the pin on the queen and the king, and after king b1, g5 may be played. But on the other hand, the bishop is not standing very well here, and the pawn on h5 is also a weakness.
Oh, she found the best way to do this idea with bishop f6.
Yeah, exactly.
Without pushing the pawns.
Alright, but then king b1 as well.
And now,
Bishop
the
g5.
same idea, yeah, bishop g5.
But then you will have still some problems with the pawn on g6. You don't want to take on f5 because of knight f5, of course. And if you want to protect it with the rook g8, for example, your pieces are misplaced.
Yeah.
To be honest, the knight on b6 does not play. You need to bring it to play. The king is in the center. So even after fg, and rook h to f1, I believe white stands a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So queen f2 was played actually by Claudia, and it's quite a complex position. Bishop g5 and then castle, for example, is one of the way to do it, or to castle immediately. Short. So very interesting game. Okay, let's take a look at the next game maybe.
This is another match. Here we have Team Ukraine against Team France.
Yep.
Even though there are different nationalities in the teams are from one country.
Yeah, actually, the team of Kiev all the players are from Ukraine. Both sisters Muzychuk, Yulia Osmak and Natalia Buksa. So 2 grandmaster and 2 international master. So they hold very high titles against Tremblay and France. So here we have different nationalities already. But let's focus on chess. Not about nationalities, nothing else, but just look at the board. So how did it happen actually? I believe it's some sort of Ruy-Lobos. So the Spanish one, right?
Exactly.
With bishop b7, d4, a4, okay. And bishop d5, very unpleasant pin on the bishop. And
that's why knight d5 was played.
Yeah, but still I can take a pawn on b5 if I want to. Bishop b5, b7, I trade the bishops. And
I wanted to take
but the pawns can't recapture back, unfortunately. There was a saying, Alekin said that the pawns will cannot move back.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful when moving the pawns, because any other piece may, and the pawns cannot. And here I believe the knight on b7 is also misplaced, and white is just simply pawn up. Of course, some counterplay connected with rook e8, for example, now, right? Maybe here, but still I believe it's not enough.
Yeah, knight f5 was played here.
And they are still thinking, but
it's worth to mention that after knight a5, black has around 4 minutes. So it means that she took quite a time to make this move, and her opponent has more than 11 minutes.
Yeah, and white is thinking either to take on b7 or to play b4. That's why she's thinking now, because b4 is also very unpleasant. All right, so take a look. Let's take
Next.
a look next game, where Maria Muzichuk is playing black.
Yeah, let's
against-
see this.
Yeah.
Knight C3 again.
Yeah, exactly.
We had lots of Knight C3 yesterday
yeah.
in the Blitz tournament.
It's quite a tricky opening. It's not very well known.
Mhm.
The theory is not so deep as in some Knight of lines and so on. So much more can be discovered during a game.
Yeah,
not
I
the
know the
whole
line when I
preparation.
play Knight C3, and you have to think how to set up because this is not the main line,
Yeah,
and people are
exactly.
not playing that often.
That's why it's quite interesting. Okay, black just gave the pair of bishops, but on the other hand,
Not
she
taken.
destroyed. Yeah.
Because of Knight B5.
B5. Oh,
and
right.
stuff
Yeah,
like
right. The fork.
Fork, we saw that.
So queen e7 with the idea of e5. That's why. And now I believe black is doing fine. Even though white has a pair of bishops, but the position is not open, so maybe I can even take on. All right, what happened in the game?
So
Oh.
after e5,
Yeah, she took on. She went to f5. All
and
right.
black has to take it.
Yes. Okay.
G6 first, G5 next.
Bishop
And
g3 and h5.
After bishop G3, we have H5.
So white has to play h3 or f3
Hmm.
just to hide the bishop.
Yeah, I think. Which one?
I would play h3.
H3.
a3 with the idea of c4 maybe.
H4
Bishop
and
h2, some g4, but you are not prepared yet for
To
such
take
an
it,
attack,
yeah.
and bishop
Mm.
will have a square on f5.
yeah, this is
So,
perfect.
yeah.
Square. Oi, not that way. Here.
Yeah, exactly. So it's quite a thing in that position. It's not that easy to play with white, but the problem of black is that if you don't smash your opponent in that
Mhm.
line, in that position, then your weaknesses will be really harmful for you. Because white will somehow play c4, bishop f5, queen then may jump on f3, then f5, so quite an interesting position.
Yeah.
What is better, the pair of bishops with worse pawn structure, or better pawn structure but pair of knights? Quite a
Yeah.
nice fight will be here.
We have actually that position with pawn on H4.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe that that black has to come up with some brilliant ideas here, because even after f4, for example, if black tries to castle short, then there might be some problems with the king after f4. And if you castle long, then I can even try to play queen f3. So to after e4 play queen f5 check. So the position is not very pleasant for black, because here bishop e2, for example, right? And the other idea after castling maybe to play just c4 and dc bishop f5. I can even sacrifice the pawn, and here I believe I have a counterplay.
Yeah.
So long castle was done, but I believe queen f3 might be also quite tempting for white. But bishop b5 was played in the game. She wants to open the king to take on c6, then the b file is open, then queen may go to e2 to attack on a6. So I'm not sure whether it was worth to do it with black. Maybe some sort of g4, take an h3, just to open the position of the king, or just to limit the bishop.
Oh, that's so nice for black.
So it might be an idea to play g4 immediately. Of course, I'm not obliged to take it. That's the problem. I can try to take or to play rook b1, and even in that position, the queen will help support the king from f3. So even if it takes such a pawn, it does not mean a lot, but quite a complex position. Both
Yeah,
both
indeed.
kings castled in opposite sides, so that's why it might be very interesting.
Yeah, the player with white piece is Nandi from India. She's
Mhm.
woman grandmaster. Her rating is relatively high, and I think she is a quite young player. I have not seen her much.
Me neither, to be honest.
Yeah, I have not seen her much. Just want to know what is her date of birth. Mm.
I believe she's 18 or 19.
Yeah, she's quite young, but her rating is already
Very high.
very. That reminds me this very common sense about Indian chess players.
Yep.
That when you play against a 10-year-old Indian player, you go on the board and then Anand, next Anand
Yeah,
approach
small
the
Anand.
board
Yeah, it's small
and
Anand for
you're
sure.
struggling.
Yes, it's very hard to play against Indian players, even though they are lower rated players, and still, even if the difference is about 800 points, I'm still a little bit afraid about the preparation of those players. Actually,
They
when
have
I face
chess
them.
in their genes, like
Yeah,
they
really.
just play it
So the next game is
perfectly well.
Yulia Osmak is playing against Gulmira Dauletova.
Mhm.
So we have the Nimzo Indian opening with the Rubinstein variation, bishop to d2. So it's quite popular.
It became quite popular.
Yeah,
This bishop
white may
d2.
try to play knight ge2, and here I know that there is some very nice move, bishop f8, and then you can try to play c5, and even some sort of Benoni structures. And the other way for white is to play bishop d3 and then knight to f3, and this is said to be one of the most popular lines in the Nimzo Indian. But bishop d2 is also playable. c5, black has to get rid of the bishop, but of course I believe it's quite good for black already. I would like to have such a position, and she sacrificed a pawn. So and of course, if you sacrifice a pawn, you have to be quite quick with your attack.
Mhm.
You want to open the position, even though white has a pair of bishops, but on the other hand, the king stands on e1 in the center, and the pieces are not developed yet. So here you can see that black is putting a great pressure on white, but is it enough? If I manage to develop myself, ooh, rook d6,
Rook
nice
d6,
one.
left and on the sixth rank.
Yeah, but if I manage
With
to
big ideas.
yes, if I manage to develop myself properly with white, it's
I think knight c6 now.
alright.
Queen
But,
d4.
but I can play rook h6 immediately, I believe. If I want to attack, I will.
I was thinking about h3 move if I'm
Alright,
getting anything from there.
the knight is still hanging, right? So it is the
Queen d4 now.
So alright, let's put maybe knight back or f6 at first, just to hide.
Now I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Knight.
Yep,
Mm.
knight to e7 even.
Wait, 97. Yes.
Alright, I'll take it.
Bishop h3.
Alright, and now what happens if I just take and take king f8?
Queen d5.
King f8. And your king is much weaker because it's under the attack of 3 pieces, and mine only
Mm.
about queen, yeah? Only one check on d8, rook e8, and that's all.
Knight c6 was taken and rook takes c6. Black doesn't want any complication. Maybe she did not like that position.
Yeah. But quite.
But not for h3, I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
there was some
rook
other
a-
reason.
Maybe h4 and king h2, but still it's quite a risky position, I believe, for black. For white, because the pawn on g3 is hanging up here. Can even try to come back.
And take on g3 anyway.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
interesting position. And rook h, after rook c6, we have queen b5. White
Very
is trying
unpleasant.
to play very active to delay the attack on the king side.
Yeah, the rook is hanging, that's why I cannot do much.
After rook c8, I can play rook c1 just to trade the rooks.
Alright, and how about bishop d7 now? I wanna play rook h6. I don't know whether it's
Is it checkmate there?
no,
'Cause the
but
bishop is hanging.
perpetual check. So let's move. Let's make
Mhm.
some dummy move.
Queen takes,
Queen takes
King
here, knight
f8.
g3.
king f2, king f4.
Draw off it
Yeah.
because you cannot hide your king. It cannot go to g2, e2. So bishop d7. Was it tied? Yeah, it was actually tied.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see, the activity of white pieces is limited, even though she's pawn up, but she has to solve a lot of problems in that position. So it's not that easy. Oh, I would like to play that position with black.
Um, really? I will go for white. Let's see how
Alright,
it will
your
end.
pawn up, but still the attack is really. If I believe it may end up in a draw by the repetition, but
Might
it's
happen.
really nice game. I would like to come back in a few moments.
Yeah, I wanted to call your attention here because it was so interesting from this point. Let's get a little bit back.
Nafisa Mominova is playing
Yes.
against Natalia Buksa.
This looks quite okay, structure and position. We have seen something similar, but then we see this very aggressive play from black.
No, I don't like this knight e4 and then knight
Hmm.
coming back on it. So bishop e5. Oh. And now she sacrificed
Four.
an exchange on e2, right? And knight d4, I like it. Really take a look at the position of white pieces. The bishop on e5, the knight on d4, right? After knight d4. It's really brilliant.
So I think black's idea was when she played 92 that white will take on e2 twice and then she will take on g2.
Right, that's why f4 here and knight d4. Bishop had to escape ef, and black moved her rook to the open file, only open file. But I believe that white is doing extremely well in that position. The bishop is limited by the pawns. I can even try to play after, for example, rook e1, rook b2. If I'm afraid of taking on c2, I can even play f5, and now c6, for example. The knight on d4 is worth more than the rook actually,
Yeah.
because it not only secures-
Defender,
yeah.
but it also makes so much problems.
Yeah, exactly. So perfect place for the knight. It cannot be distracted. So c6 was played, and now I believe f5, ef, and rook e1 is one of the possibilities. But of course, I don't have to do it. I can even try to push the pawn to c7,
Mm-hmm.
and the bishop. I believe white should be winning in that position.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah, I like
somebody
it too.
asked me for the evaluation of a position, I would say it's for sure. Because even if I try to get rid of that knight, that annoying knight from d4, the white may even go to g3 or g1, just to hide the king. And black's king, and because of that pawn.
No doubt that white has
Yeah.
here big advantage. We have to go back in the game of Yulia Osmak and Gulmira Dolotova.
So it's
Because
something.
the game will end quite soon.
Yeah.
That's what we predicted.
Yeah, exactly.
A very good prediction.
Yeah,
from us.
we have this perpetual check. So even though white had a pair of bishops pawn up,
Mhm.
it was not enough to win, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's continue to see
Let's
other
move
games.
farther,
Yeah?
right? To
Yeah.
Matches even.
So that's another
Yeah.
team.
Yugra against Hello Shak.
Hello, Shak. I like it.
Yeah.
Hello, Shak. So we have 4 rooks on the board, and the material is equal.
Yeah, it's the game
Um,
of Natalia Pogonina against Tang Hoang.
Huang Trang.
Okay.
The thing is that black has the isolated pawn
On d5, right?
or pass pawn. It depends how you would like to. But in this case, I think it's isolated pawn because white really.
If I had the
attacks.
knight on d4, I would say it's isolated
Isolated.
pawn. But now it might be after king c5, for example, it might be the passed pawn.
Pass pawn.
But the position has changed a little bit.
Okay. Because white decided to get both rooks on the
file.
next file.
But what
To
happens now?
have
King
more
d7
activity.
maybe? Rook c7 at first? King d8 the only move? You cannot go there
What?
because you will be mated in one very nicely. So king d8 or king e8 are the only
Mhm.
moves. Rook to c8,
Mhm.
king d7, rook once more to c7. I believe if I were white, I would force black to go to the 8th rank,
Mhm.
something like that. And then I will take on f6. You have to take, and
And
I
take
will
the pawn.
just take a pawn. Because now the king is cut on the 7th rank.
Yeah.
He doesn't say on d6. That's why I believe it's the best choice for white
Yeah.
to do, right? Not
I
to
like
allow,
that too.
yeah.
It's just happening in the
Yeah.
game. It's just happening in the game.
Yeah, okay, so we have some end games, in also in different games where Anita Gara is playing against Olga Giria. So I believe that now White will want to make a draw because she's pawn up, pawn down, but of course the king cannot go anywhere. So because if you go to f6, you will be just mated on f7. Same after king h6. That's why you actually have to go back. You may try, it's a draw. You may try to go to f8, but after knight e6.
It's also draw.
Yep. But I believe
Can't-
rook b5 may be played, and it's very unpleasant position from black.
Rook e2.
Right, knight h3. The pawn on d5 is still hanging, and it's not that easy. I would, if I were white, I would play that position, to be honest.
Mm.
Even
Yeah.
okay, the Anita's Gara elo is lower, but still, during the game you don't play against the elo of your opponent. Actually, you play the position and try to evaluate it, not looking at the opponent's better elo or something like that. It's a mistake actually.
Yeah, neither onto the
Whoa.
eyes. So this is beautiful checkmate here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this
So
a little
Olga
bit.
Badelka won against Sidonia Lazarnevaida.
So it started from this position.
Yeah, sort of Greenfeld with g3. I don't like black's idea to give away the pair of bishops so easily.
Hmm. And white conducted such a powerful attack on
Yeah,
the
I
king
like this.
side.
I like this f5 and
That's
without
a sacrifice,
yeah.
actually.
exactly, but without the black squared bishop,
Hmm.
it's hopeless for black actually. That's why I didn't like to give
Mhm.
away so easily the pair
Yeah.
of bishops, right?
This is the game when you sacrifice a pawn, but you are not just looking for very quick follow up. You just sacrifice and just play for
Initiative. Yeah.
initiative.
Improving
Yeah,
the
I
initiative.
love it shows a really high class of a chess player.
Yeah, and here it was she was
Beautiful.
just sorry, but for my language, but she was smashed actually
Mm.
in that game. So the last game of this
Of the match
of this match, yes.
was ended,
Yes.
and the sister of Anya, Garatisia, lost against Dinara
Georgieva.
Dorjieva.
Georgieva.
Did you say Georgieva?
Right, yeah.
To make me happy. Here we have an extra rook. How it happened?
No,
With
no.
some sacrifice or just?
Let's take a look.
Okay, here we have a
okay,
rook.
the equal
Let's
material.
slowly go there. With the
Rook
rook is
G8,
no rook is hanging.
F4, I don't like that move. Knight to C4. Oh, what a mistake.
Blunder.
She forgot about securing the rook on e7. And she actually lost in one move after queen e7, right?
Yeah, this is amazing. That's the dark side of online chess. You just
Yeah.
blunder rooks and queens just like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very sad story, to be honest.
I think other games already are finished. This is the
Whoa.
match between
Gambit
from
Volgograd.
Azerbaijan and from Russia.
Russia, right. So Valentina Gunina was playing white against Gunay Mamajadza. Almost. And
It hurted
she
my
lost.
ears.
I do my best, but still it's not that easy.
Yeah, here black has an extra piece and pawns as well,
Two-
and
Oh yeah, one piece, but one.
hard to stop it.
No, it's impossible. How did it happen actually? I'm quite curious. Because, alright.
Seems like black had this advantage for a long period. Okay, we
Yeah.
have to take a look from the beginning.
Just from the beginning, right. So the Slav defense with g3, not the best setup against the Slav. And black did not want to give away the pawn. And it was
Mhm.
quite a good idea as far as we can see. Day 6. No, and bishop d5 now, right? So just to cut the board.
Second pawn was
Shoot.
taken.
Come on, I would never never dare to take so many pawns one would be enough, and then I would like to secure the position. But on the other hand, here two
It was
pawns up.
free.
Yeah, maybe, but you know, I would be afraid of that. Now, of course, that position is one for black.
Yeah. So next games, let's quickly take a look. This is one of the last games of the first round. Here we have Salima Nurgul with white pieces against Hanim Balayeva, and here we see also the extra bishop on the board.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure. Yeah, this was the position from the beginning, and it is worth to take a look if you want to know how to win when you have an extra pawn on side, because
Just push it.
just push it. That's not that easy.
And then promote.
It requires some technique still.
Of
some
course,
technique.
of course.
So you can take a look, but we have to move to the next game, and here we have black won this game. Can you tell me why black won this game at that early stage?
Yeah, because the bishop on c5 is attacking the pawn on f2, and white's bishop is quite passive. Even though we have the opposite squared colored bishops, black's is much better. So if
But
we
isn't it too early to resign here?
no, I don't believe it. She
It is a rapid tournament with.
but maybe on time, but not.
She lost on time.
Yeah, she lost on time,
She could
but
not make it.
okay, but even after bishop e2, she would suffer a lot.
Yeah.
Black's idea would be to play king e5, h6, g5, f4, and so on,
Yeah.
just to push, because she's pawn up and the bishop is much better. The
Mhm.
position, actually, if played further, black would win
Anyway, yeah,
anyway.
most probably.
Yep.
So here I can see that there's 0-0-0 for white. She
All
did
right.
not manage to make a move, and it's worth to mention that on Tornella we don't have pre-moves.
Pre-moves, right. So we have 15 minutes plus 5 seconds. It's time control.
So this is the game between. This is another match, and
Yeah,
see.
Schwäbisch Hall against Clichy Eszek.
I think those are one of the favorite teams
Mhm.
in this group. And let's
Actually,
see.
I believe that any team may win this competition, to be honest.
Mhm.
What happened in the game?
It's already very hard position for black, because the king is totally naked,
Yes.
and it seems like white. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And she just took one more pawn.
That's enough. That's enough.
Very, very nice technique of white.
Yeah, another match against the same teams. Alina Kashlinskaya and Maria Rabidze. Mary lost the game.
Yeah,
Let's
to-
take a look.
to Alina.
Also, a little bit here again. Black had the problem of the king. King is open, and seems like black was not able to defend it. It's quite hard to do it.
Oh, but it was quite.
Although this was a blunder, yeah.
Yeah, e4 was a blunder. It was not easy to play that
So it's
position.
1-1 in this team, and there we see Lilith Mikrotysyan and Alexandre Kostyuk, also very, very known names in women chess. Here Lilith lost, because you can see the
So
rook,
that would mean
and
2-1
queen.
for Clichy.
and this was a draw.
So 2.5 they won.
A French team won.
So
yeah.
French team over, yeah. Even though they were actually the average elo would be almost the same, I would say.
Yeah, almost the same. And they had both teams had a very nice event yesterday. So we have. Do we have some? We don't have actually. That's the round
Alright,
is
so
ended.
let's take a look at the results maybe from the boards. I will try to find them.
Yeah. Let's see who won.
Oh, okay. I believe I can already find it. So, Cercle Deszek Monte Carlo drew the match against Poland Hussars. What was the 4 draws? Kiev Chess Federation Greco against Tremblay en France also draw. So Anna Muzychuk won her game and Maria Muzychuk lost her game.
And this like
Yeah.
They sure did. And then we have two last boards. They ended in a draw.
Yes, exactly. And Yugra team won quite convincingly, 3.5 to half against Hello Shark. And what next?
Gambit Volgograd won against Oldlar Yurdu.
2.5 to
yeah.
1.5.
And the same result was in the last match, Clichy Echas versus
Schwäbisch Hall.
Schwäbisch Hall. So that was the end of the first round. Today
Yes,
we will
exactly.
have 4 more rounds, so don't go anywhere. We will have a very short break and we will come back. We're back. I am Katie. This is Martin,
Hello.
and this is European Women Club Cup, organized by the Club Monte Carlo and the European Chess Union.
This year we played online, but
Next year.
hopefully next year over the board already.
We'll play in the casino.
Yeah.
So we have already the pairings of the second round, and we can take a look at the Zoom, and let's check out whom they are, how they are preparing for the
Yeah,
game.
exactly.
And meanwhile, we can talk about the pairings too.
Yes, exactly. We have already the pairings
Okay,
also.
we have pairings. Okay, perfect.
Yes. So even with the lineups.
Mhm.
So now in the round number 2, Poland Hazards will play against Kliśniewicz. So in Polish team there is no change. And how about the Kliśniewicz?
I see new name,
Yeah.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Anna Le. I should stop talking.
Yeah. On the fourth board, the change is
They
that
changed.
yes, Afraul Anel
Anna, yeah.
will play on the last board against Claudia Kulon. And what next? Odlar Jurdu will play against Febischal. Hello Shak will play against Gambit Volgograd. Tremblay en France against Ugra team. And Sekle Deshek de Monte Carlo against Kiev Chess Federation Greco. So not many changes as far as I can see, but still there are some.
Yeah. So for the first round, we have 4 teams who shared the
Points.
points, and then we have 3 teams who has more points.
Who won their matches, right?
Yeah. Ugra has the most of the wins, 3.5 against
Board
half.
points, right?
Board points might be useful in the end.
Yeah, of course. It's
When we
very.
come to the tie breaks.
Yeah, exactly. So we will start this round number 2 in few moments. So as you could see already in the first round, the games were really
Mhm.
stressful. Here we can see on Zoom the players are preparing themselves to
Yeah.
the games already.
This is a women's tournament. We are adjusting our hair a lot. I saw so many girls doing that.
Yeah,
I'm doing that to girls. That's what we do.
I don't have such an opportunity actually. Already not. I used to have some possibilities to do it, to shake my hair, but now it's
Shake.
yeah, but
Wave.
now yeah, wave. But now it's done. It's gone, and I cannot do anything against it.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry. We have some struggle with that too. So you can see on the screen who I can recognize is Anna Ushanina, former world champion.
Yeah.
Anna Muzichuk, also world champion in Blitz and Rapid.
Yeah, exactly. Here we can see at that stage all women, all participants are titled players.
Yeah.
So it's not a coincidence they are playing in the second stage.
And here we have Sarah Khadem from Iran playing chess tournament at European Women Club Cup.
Yeah, exactly. So all the teams must be from Europe, but players may be from around the world, and actually they are.
Yeah, I believe that French team who got Sarah is very lucky because she's one of the top chess players nowadays and quite strong in Blitz, as she won World Rapid and Blitz Championship in 2018 in Russia, and she won actually the prize for the best results in woman category, and
All right.
that was really nice. The games has started, so we can slowly move to the chessboard and take a look at them.
All right. So
Here in this position,
Yeah, it's
we
quite
don't have
quite
some
strange.
pieces already.
Yeah,
Let's
all
see
the
how it
pawns
happened.
are on the starting position. All pawns left.
The move
How did
8.
it happen?
The move 8.
So it was right. It was the
Mm.
Alekhine defense
So they started to trade the pieces on
Yeah.
the move 4.
and CD check. That's why you have to to take it, and now the king is castled. I believe white is a little bit better because of the pawn structure, but still, of course, the advantage is not very huge. So
Quite a calm game, although
Yeah.
they will continue to play that. Another London system here, the one which is very popular. Let's take a look how it started. I'm sure you know it by heart already. All of you know by heart. So bishop
Yeah.
f4 for a second move. And here black decided to develop the bishop early, and bishop d6, also to trade the
yeah,
bishop.
to trade the
which
bishops.
makes
And now
so much problems.
white is thinking whether to take on d6 or to play bishop g3.
Hmm?
Just where to put, either strengthen the pawn structure with a or just simply to exchange the bishops on
Yeah.
on d6.
Valentina lost previous game,
Yep.
and she had not much chances to fight back, as she was 2 pawns down already in the after the opening.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's hope to see her back, as when she is in her best shape, she shows really amazing chess.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, let's switch to other game.
Should we start like previous one, like one by one? What do you think?
Okay,
do it.
let's do it. We have enough time because we have the rapid tournament. It's the rapid tournament, 15 minutes plus 5 seconds increment per move.
Mhm.
So actually a lot of.
That's what they see. That's what
Yeah.
players see.
Now
They-
you can you can see on the screen.
They all
How
they
does it look
share
like?
they share the screen, so you can see that the player has only one tab open, and that's Tornella.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how the pieces are looking there. And there is a button of call arbiter. Where is it? I don't see.
On
it.
the
Call arbiter. Yeah.
Yes, on the left somewhere.
And when you press that, the time will stop, and you can have
Talk
a
to the
chat
yeah,
with
with
the
the
arbiter.
arbiter, right? So okay, the on the board we see the game of Jolanta Zawadzka against Sarah. So I believe it was the Scotch opening,
Mhm.
and now Yola is thinking because Queen e7 might be a surprise for her. Alright, and now Bishop d3, e5 is the main line, but Bishop d3 is totally playable. And after Queen e7, I believe I would play Knight to d2, for example.
Yeah, that's just
Ah.
happened.
So, of course, Black will not trade the pawn on e4 because of the weaknesses on c6, c7. And there are some problems with the bishop from f8, how to develop it. Maybe g6 and bishop g7. Yeah, g6 was played, actually.
Yeah.
I can predict women chess quite well.
Yeah, you're a very good competitor of mine. That's not often happening when I have
Male.
grandmaster commentator. They're like, why do they do that?
No.
Why?
You know,
That's very common sentence.
I don't do it because, you know, I play on my own, and sometimes when I look at my moves, I'm also curious, what was in my head that I made such a move. So, you know,
Yeah, that's why chess is interesting. If you play like a computer, it's
yeah, it's
will
boring.
be draw and equal all the time. It's worth to mention that about Jolanta Zawadzka. She is one of the Polish
Member of the Polish
member
national
yeah.
team.
And there is a chess player, woman, international master, Anna.
Ivanov?
No.
No, Cantane.
Cantane, yes. Anna Cantane.
So she's Anna Ivanov from home.
Ah, that's okay.
It's
Okay.
Ivanov is her maiden name.
Uh-huh. Um,
Now she's commenting, also a commentator,
uh-huh.
also a player, of course.
Yeah.
Her husband is a grandmaster from Latvia.
Yes, we were commenting together at one of the events, and Jolanta was playing there, and she said that at her early years of chess, her hero, absolute hero, was Jolanta, because she's from the same city.
Of
And
Wrocław in
yeah,
Poland.
It's amazing to have role models in
Yeah.
chess. You just follow their steps, and you want to be
Yeah.
like them or improve that.
Yeah, we are almost the same age as I am also almost the same age as Yola, and I remember when we were playing the youth championship of world Europe. Of course, I didn't get any medal. I didn't win any medal, but she did. Together with Radek, the same year as Radek Wojtaszek and Klaudia Kulon, I believe, and Asia Maidan. So this was the really good youth team of generation, actually.
Yeah.
And even though I don't feel like being a total moron in chess, but still I was just the bad one, the weak one. So, but okay. No, a lot has changed, but still we are young. At least.
Actually, I don't even want to. I don't even want to
Emphasize.
hurt you to tell you how old is Sarah. So let's
I believe
how
she's
young is she?
Yeah, 18 maybe. Right, something like that.
20.
So I'm also in my 20s plus.
Another 20.
No, come on.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
If I
Bad
were a
joke.
woman, I would feel offended. But as a man, I'm not.
No, okay. Good that I don't have to apologize now.
So Trompowski in the game of Alina Kaslinska against Alicja Śliwicka. I believe GF is also for sure it's playable, and I believe it's even better just to put the pawns to the center, not out of the center, because after EF DC you have this
The pawn structure.
the pawn structure on D5, and it's quite. I believe it's quite easy for White to handle that position. It's easier than after GF. But okay, it's up to the player what you wanna obtain. So here Black will try to play F4 just to get rid of the double pawns and then just to attack the pawn structure of White. So maybe G3, something like G3 will be played by White. I don't have the Black square bishop.
Will we see G5 here?
Yeah,
just
for
to
sure.
Be stubborn and push anyway. F4?
Yeah, but after knight D4, F4, it's becoming a double-edged position, right?
Yeah, indeed. We can move to the next
Yes,
game.
Yulia
and
Antolak is playing against Alexandra Kosteniuk.
here we see that pawn is already advanced to H4.
Yeah, so it's
But-
very popular line nowadays.
Where are the queens?
They were exchanged. It's a
Holiday.
Caro-Kann with knight f6 and EF and H5 line, so it's very popular nowadays. It's very hard for White to find an advantage in that line, to be honest. I also have some problems with that, so.
Struggle. Okay, let's get to the next game.
Where Claudia Coulon is playing Black against Anel Afray. Most probably. So what happens in the game? Let's see. It must have been Ruy Lopez as well. But the F5 line, so the Yenish gambit. Most probably, but I'm not sure. Can we go to the back?
To
the
start,
very
yeah?
beginning, right.
Let's do that.
Yeah, E4, E5, nice impedance, so then Ruy Lopez, but not with F5. Alright. That is how. And she didn't want to take a pawn because of Queen D5, right? DC,
yeah.
Queen D5, Queen D7.
Double attack.
Maybe it's dangerous. Maybe I can even try to take on F7 immediately.
Oh, that makes sense actually.
No? And if you
Okay.
take with the king, then Queen D5, and you can't play Bishop E6 because of Knight G5. So that's why.
Yes.
Yeah, finally. So that's why. But after King E8, Queen
I'll
C6
take it.
check, Bishop D7, Queen C3. White seems to have an edge in that position because I'll castle shot very briefly and then attack. So what happens in the game actually? Let's take a look at the game. Yeah, it's here.
It looks so different.
Yeah,
the
because
position what we
the
had.
bishops were traded on E6. A4, maybe AB. So I believe white stands better because of the fact that the rook on A file is already on the open file, and the problem with black is that the pieces are not developed yet. But of course, you will have to be very precise to show that you are better. Maybe rook d1 might be quite a nice attempt because of the knight f6. I can even try to play e5, de, and queen here. But
Yeah,
of course,
to play against this
but
weakened pawns.
bishop d6 coming, so it's not that easy. Rook a6, queen d7. I don't believe that rook a6 is a proper move maybe now knight a3 just to attack the pawn, and after b4 knight may leap to c4 just still to play e5 after knight f6. King is still in the center, and that's the problem of black. And if I play e5 I have some weaknesses on d5, f5, so I believe white stands better in that position. Okay, let's get to the second match. Where Odlar Yurdu is playing against Febishal. So here we have the position. Alright, so for knights variation in Sicilian, open Sicilian, the other way is to play bishop f4, and it's way much complicated because here you sacrifice, play queen f3, something like that. You sacrifice some material for the advantage, but a3 is quite calm, and after d5, yeah, white has a pair of bishops, but on the other hand, black may push. The pawn on d4 might be a weakness one day, but might be also a strength. It depends how do we play. White took a pawn, and I believe stands much better. So, alright, let's switch to the second board. Totally different position, as you can see, a lot of pawns. So bird opening.
So this is the game between Maria Rabidze and Golnar Mamedova.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe white has an edge in that position because of the pawn structures. And alright, I couldn't take on c5 immediately because of queen a5 and the check. So that's why castle, knight d7 and c4. I believe even after rook a to c1, it's very unpleasant for black to play. So we have something like that. Queen to a3, yeah. Actually, white will play queen a3, just take the pawn on c5. Maybe d4 at first. That's why d4 was played immediately. And now if white takes on c5, take on c5, rook to c5, I can play rook c7. And the rook is and the queen are pinned, but I handled that with b4. So not very nice position for black for sure.
Yeah. You know, Martin, what I just did? I just shared this stream among to my friends on Facebook. So
Cool.
you guys can also share and let your friends and family
No.
know about the tournament. They would like to see some of chess games, and very interesting chess games, I
Yeah,
must say.
exactly. Here we can see the second time where white in the Alekhine defense don't play e5, knight d5, but rather knight c3, and just we have the same end game, or is it from the former game, because it looks so similar. White stands.
I think it's the same. I just clicked there directly because I wanted to see what was going on.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's the same.
No, but the game is still being played, so.
We expected early draw there.
All right. So.
Next, we have Karina Abarsumova against Turkan Mamedyarova. Turkan is the member of a very strong chess family. His brother Shahrir Mamedyarov is one of the top grandmasters nowadays.
In the world.
Their older sister also, Zainab Mamedyarov, is woman grandmaster and quite strong, rapid blitz player.
All right, so here we can see some traits in the center, and black obtained the Isolani on d5, queen e2. So I believe white has a small edge, but
you know what?
right?
I bet now next move white will play knight d2, and we're gonna have first time ever all the pieces on d file.
All right.
I have never seen all the pieces on d file. Never in my life. This can be really funny.
Yeah, after knight d2, right? You're right. So maybe I cannot move them.
b5.
I cannot move that bishop, right? So
b5.
okay, let's move the queen to e6 to go to
Okay.
g6, yeah, and then knight d2. And
We have to screen this if it happens.
yep, but I believe you will not.
You think it's not?
No.
Okay, knight d2 doesn't make any sense, yeah?
Bishop b4 will be played most probably just to go to c3 or rook c8, just to take control over the c file, just to jump on every. Bishop f5 actually was played, so our plan is destroyed.
Still, there is a chance if knight plays on d2 and bishop goes on
Comes back
d7, which
d7.
very likely is not happening.
Right. So, okay, next match.
What do we have here? This
Hello
is
Shak against Gambit Volgograd.
Trang Hong against Valentina Gonina.
Right. What happened? It was a Slav, right? Or the Slav pawn structure, but it was the
From London.
from London system, right? But Black got rid of the bishop at first on f3, and then some
Looks very much like Queen's
Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit.
Accepted or even. So I believe there is no problem at all for Black.
Hmm.
The position is quite equal, even without the rooks. I don't believe that the position might be better for White because the bishop is just, there is no weakness.
Yeah, no
Black's
weakness
camp.
in none of the side, not black and not white.
Because I believe that if we are talking about weaknesses, they are weak if you can attack them, and if not, even though all of the pawns stand on light squares, just like the bishop, they are not weaknesses.
So next game here we have Marisa Bach and Anita Garam.
Yeah.
We have already end game here, and knight is on the way to get perfect square here to blockade this pawn and attack on c4.
Yeah, exactly. But knight b3, knight d6, knight c5, knight c4, and some f3.
Maybe I get with the rook
Mm-hmm.
here.
Yeah, knight d3, take on. Yeah, you're right. So
Good.
black might be better. Yeah, knight went on d6 after king f1, so for sure black is better.
Mhm.
Maybe I can play some a6 with the idea of rook a5, just to attack the pawn on c5.
Makes sense. That makes sense. If black is on time, just to put the king in the center.
On
that
b6 even, right?
Yeah, in room b6. If you dream, let's dream big better. Then can be really good for black. Both sides have passed pawns which are protected
Yeah,
by
exactly.
the pawns, but there are still rooks and the knights, and this is still very much playable game
Yeah,
position.
exactly. A totally different position of Petra Papp against Anastasia Bodnaruk. So
From the game is still at the opening
right there,
middle game
yeah, I would say
stage
yeah, not the end game, just like plenty of
of others.
of
Yeah.
others that we have seen. Bishop d2 was played to protect the pawn on a3 because it was hanging actually.
Mhm. Yeah, we can show
Move
that.
before, right? Then
Let's
knight.
say bishop here,
Yeah, then knight a3.
and this is
Then
hanging. What? Not this.
Not
one.
that one. That one, right? That's why
So
bishop d2.
d2.
But I believe that if I exchange that bishop with knight d2 immediately or not, then black is doing fine. Bishop e7. Without black dark squared bishop, white does not have enough attack in such positions. So I believe bishop g2, and so this idea was a blunder, because if I must, I would say that black should not allow, black should trade the dark squared bishop if possible, and white should avoid it. That's why bishop e1 was played.
Yeah, bishop e1. Is there some move like this to attack on b2, and if white takes, I take? Now
Knight
knight
d4.
should get some on d4, and I wanted to make it work. e5.
But always I have bishop c3 to protect the on b2 and on g1. So knight f5 now.
Oh, wait.
Queen b6.
My idea was to open the bishop, and why I don't open immediately, because I was waiting you to
Alright.
take it. So I'll
And
do
the
like
pawn on
this.
f4 is hanging as well. So
With
okay,
a
I will
check.
have to play ed because your king is still in the center.
And there is also some ideas.
Yeah, but still I believe with such a development, white should be okay, or should be fine after ed, for example. The king is still in the center.
Yeah.
So that's the problem of black. And of course, if I try to castle short, then h4, h5, g6. That's why I believe she should have taken on d2 immediately instead of knight d to b6, because then after taking I still have enough time to go there.
Yep.
So knight d6, actually black is still thinking in that position. All right.
The next game here we have Nurgul Salimova against Tizia Kara. And seems like white took on b7, which is called poison pawn, but it's not that much poison here, and it's actually 2 extra pawns.
But for there are 3 pawns for quality. No, 2 pawns for quality. You're right.
Oh, I didn't see that.
C2 and b2 pawns for
Yeah.
the quality, right?
Yeah,
But it should be enough, more than enough, after queen e4, for example. Just centralize the queen, attack on g6, protect the pawn on c2.
Yeah.
Pair
and
of bishops, I believe Nurgul Salimova stands much better.
Yeah, the next game here we have Tohiyanova against Paganina, and we have this end game, which might be even here, changed like it happened in the game, and we will see 2 knights against knight and the bishop.
White has an edge after king e3, knight c3, for example, because the bishop is can attack now. I can say that pawns on the queen side of black are weaknesses because now they can be attacked by the bishop.
At some point.
At some point, not immediately, but
Yeah.
still, they may be one day called weaknesses. And the bishop is better piece when we have pawns on both sides.
Yeah, and all the pawns in this case are on white, and bishop can access all of those pawns.
Yeah, exactly. So
What do we have next?
Nandira against Badelka. Badelka playing white. So let's take a look. How did it happen? So it was the English opening. The bishop wants to go to a7 just to give a pin. If white tries to play d4, then the bishop will attack on the center. That's quite a good idea of white. And now I believe the knight wanted to go to e5, just to be centralized. And now it attacks the pawn on e3, and I believe black is doing extremely fine here. And yes, she took a pawn on e3. You cannot. There is a threat of taking. So, for example, after a3, I can simply take on e3, and the knight on b4 is not protected. So it's very hard for white. But after knight c2, e2, knight e3, it's just much better position. Actually, winning position. Black is 2 pawns up.
Yeah.
Pair of bishops.
Very nice pieces. All of
Yeah.
them are in the game.
Yeah, exactly. So even though Olga Badelka is playing with white and her elo is higher by 80 points, she should lose that position. But what happened in the game was knight to b5 immediately, so she took back a pawn. At
One pawn is
least.
back, and now b5 is also hanging.
Yeah, but 1 pawn only, and still the position is worse for white. But still, of course,
Yeah,
it was a mistake.
blunder.
She might have played knight queen f7, just protect the bishop, just to consolidate, right? And here it's already not that easy. It was already better. She was already better in that game. But of course, bishop f2, for example, may come. Rook to c1, but yeah, that was a blunder for sure. Knight 2, she missed knight b5. And now she cannot actually run away with the queen because both bishops are hanging. That's why she had to take, and now she is seeing knight e3. So no material advantage, but d5, right?
Yeah, very
Those
nice.
pawns are really stronger than those. And now d4, d3, just like a small tank. Here bishop rook f7 will be played.
Rook
just
a6 also possible.
bishop b6, rook a6, huh?
Yeah.
Right. The bishop is so you know.
It's prisoned
Yeah.
by the black pawns.
And rook f7 was played actually. But rook a6 was also totally playable. b5, maybe something like that would come, because I don't see any other choice for black. So that's why knight rook f7 with the idea of simple d4, d3. The bishop is
Not
really
to give any control play,
Yeah.
and that's was played in the
yeah,
in the game.
exactly. So okay, let's move to the next game. Gulmira Dauletova is playing white against Dinara Dorjieva. Is it correct pronunciation now?
I don't know. That's good.
Because I believe
Dauletova.
Dorjieva. Yeah,
Dort.
but the player playing with black,
Ah,
Dorjieva.
Dorjieva.
All right, so g3. So the Sicilian with the g3. So of course g4 is the Keres attack, which is much more tempting play.
Yeah.
But if you are not, in the mood of playing sharp, you just play g3, develop the pieces, the king.
Yeah, she
you make
probably
a
knows
young-
that more,
yeah,
right? Because if
course.
you know g3, you also might look at g4.
Yeah, of course. The bishop on g2 is fianchetto, and the king is safer. That's why it's also much calmer. But still, I believe that somehow black. And now g4, f4. So calmly go there. Black tries to find counterplay on the center, on the queen side. And bishop b5. No, that's not what I like. But of course, it's very easy to say g5, f6, fg, fe. Something like this will come. That's why you have to react. And you have this pawn square on e5, even though she lost a pawn, but she wants to take on e4. The knight on e5 is extremely well placed. For example, knight d6, bishop d6, rook d6, and now knight e4. Here, but here bishop d4 may come. Knight d3. It's a complex position, as you can see. It's not that easy that white is pawn up and is just winning, but still, I believe it is worth to play. Oh, so okay. Knight went back on d4, rook d2 just to protect the pawn on b2 after some knight d3 ideas. And here the bishop is limited by the pawn on e4. So quite an interesting position.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next game. Here we have white pieces Baya Kovanova against Nafisa Muminova. And white has an extra pawn on b file, but it is queen and the rook on the board, so there can be some chances for black.
But I believe if played properly, it's very nice technical play of white. She got rid of the minor pieces, so any attack cannot happen. And now, of course, I cannot take on b2 because of queen c8, rook c8 and rook c8 mate. So that's why h6 and b3, and this, risk-free position. Of course, black tries to create some counterplay. If I take on a7, I have to calculate it actually. Check. g6 and, for example, queen f4, right? Or queen f3. So I believe white is able to take the pawn on a7 and then on a8.
We have first result already. Claudia Coulon won her game. Let's check out what other Polish hussars are playing. What does it mean, hussars? Hussars.
Hussar was the soldier in the Middle Ages. It was very popular. The Polish king John III Sobieski won the battle against Muslims. Especially when the Vienna was surrounded, the Polish hussars soldiers on the horses were attacking. There were not many of them, but they managed to overeat, I believe, 10 times more opponents. The horses were well trained, and they were really very precious because one of them, as far as I remember, one of them was worth as much as one village to train such a horse because
Wow.
those soldiers had a special shields and so on with some. You should see it, Google it because it's very interesting actually. From the Polish history, it is one of the best military formation
Hmm.
in those days.
It's kind of reminds me the current situation now. So they are fighting to the grandmasters
Yeah,
and the international
exactly.
masters. Way stronger playing a higher rated player than the average rating of the
Yeah.
team, but they are doing it good. They're doing it. They're already in advance in the second match. First match they managed to win. It was
Alright.
win or it was no, it was
A draw.
shared. Yeah,
A draw, but
to one of the best team in this tournament.
yeah, Monte Carlo.
So
Second
what is
day
happening? What is happening in the first and second and third boards?
Jola Zawadzka is just winning
Hmm.
against Sarah, so it would be a surprise actually, a small surprise. Of course, Jola is a woman grandmaster, very titled, very talented, but still she's playing against very strong international master. And now she's exchange up and the pawn on d4 is hanging.
I just received the photo of
Yeah.
Mozart's.
Look at them because
Is that some?
it was from birds, because then the noise was very scary for the other horses of opponents.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
take a
scary.
look. Yeah, it was really scary, but it's worth to see them, the hazards.
Very beautiful.
King e5. Now white is winning that position quite
It reminds
easily.
me the story of 300 Spartas.
Yep, it is some sort of, because such a soldier with from this army, the weight of the whole person with the armor was over 100 kilos. So these horses really had to be well trained and so on.
Mm.
They were smashing the opponents. All right. So what happens in the game of Alina Kaszlinskaya against Alicja Śliwicka? I believe Alina is just winning because she's 2 pawns up. How did it come? So as I told you, the pawn on d5 is quite
Mhm.
weak, and f4 I like that move very much. It
Stopping
supports,
the
yeah,
pawn.
it supports the knight on e5, and of course if you take such a pawn, you have triple pawns here, which are 3 weaknesses, potential weaknesses. So g4 and no attack at all, and very nice knight g4. But whoa, wait, what happens if I take, and king f7?
Yeah, only move I think.
So, alright, but what happens if I just take fg? Because she played queen g7,
Ah,
and I don't understand that move.
Yeah.
I believe it was just winning for black.
yeah, I think she might
Calculate
calculate
something,
king
huh?
f7.
Yeah, she didn't see it.
I didn't see it the first time. I thought it's winning.
Now, of course, I cannot take and play f4 because just gf helps
Mm-hmm.
white to bring the rook to the game, and after bishop d6, those pawns are weak. And she took both of them, one
Huh.
after another, and 2 pawns up. The king is weak. No, it's the winning position for
Yeah.
white for sure. We have such a position.
Trying, but
She's trying, but still, it's just lost. And the last position from the last game, very complicated as you can see. So it was from that Karo Khan.
mhm.
Black has given away a pair, two minor pieces for the rook and 2 pawns, and it's, of course, here we know it will be very complex position. 3 pawns, f6, f5, g6 against against the pawn on d6. Really nice fight here. Bishop f6, of course, you cannot take back because of d7 and d8.
Yeah.
Rook here, look at it's really nice position. f3, for example, then king f1. I cannot play bishop g3 because of rook g2.
Yeah.
That's why king f1 will play probably. And now g3. So now, if what happens if I just play knight d4,
It was played
king
94.
f7?
I cannot take it.
I cannot take, and black will try to give a perpetual check. But what happens if I play c6, for example, or d7 at first?
King e7 has
Bishop g3, very nice one, because the pawns are so advanced. The knight with the knight they should be
That
winning.
eliminates the chance for black to perpetual check.
Yeah, but actually after d7, I believe that after rook f2, I can just simply go to e1. I'm not obliged to go to g file. So, but still, I believe it's a very good way of. Oh yeah, Julia Antulak won her game against
Ooh.
Alexandra Kosteniuk.
Wow, that's a sensation.
She was yeah, because she was an underdog, but still, as you can see, youngsters or just like a hazards. The name is really proper, I would say.
Makes sense. She just beat it, Alexandra Kosteniuk, former world champion.
Yeah, and d7
And
next
also
over
one
c8.
of the strongest online
Yeah,
female participants who is a player who is
playing in that competition.
yeah, playing a lot in the
All right, so let's
online
take a look
competitions.
at the other.
For the moment, it's 2-1, and still one game is in progress. Zawadzka
they will,
Jolanta.
yeah, but we can see it on the board.
It's
so
winning, yeah.
It's winning. You cannot even try to lose it because the knight cannot give a mate in such a position. But
Yeah.
of course, she's
So
winning.
the match is already won,
Yes, for Poland Hazards.
and they won against Clichy HS, one of the best teams. Wow,
Yeah.
it's getting
Really.
really interesting.
Yes. Okay. Let's switch to the next match. Next game actually played. So Petra Pap is playing against Anastasia Bodnaruk. So I believe she's just winning because 3 minor pieces against the rook are way more than enough.
Too much.
And actually, the rook is is caught
Hmm.
because. But how did it? Oh, king e7, check. Of course, it's not a blunder. Rook f5. It was just an inaccuracy, but bishop f6, king d7, and bishop f7 will be played. White will gain one more pawn on g6, which will be totally won for white. Check, king b2 maybe. Then I'll take on g6. It's still on the board. Okay, so not many games left. That might be interesting. So it is from the match Odlar Yurdu against Febishal. The game of Hanim Balayeva against Deimante Daulite Cornet. So such a position occurred on board. Of course, now it's almost the same as by Jolanta, but black has 2 more pawns. So totally alters the evaluation. Not totally, but still makes some chances, gives some chances to black,
Yeah.
right?
Very good chances, I must say.
Yeah, but the rook d4, now I just wanna play rook d6. Knight c5 was played, king b4,
I think 94.
knight e4, but what then after, for example, I know rook d7,
Just a push pawn.
knight went to b7, which is quite passive way, so knight d7, I believe some sort of, when e5 then knight d5.
This is the final game.
Yeah,
All
this
the
is the
games
final,
already finished.
final game of round number 2. Here we can see the photo of the member of ECU board, Petr Pisk from Czech Republic.
Also, the
Czechia.
organizer of many
Yeah,
international tournaments.
but here I believe white may try to win. Rook f6, very nice move. Of course, if black manages to take this pawn on b5, it would be a draw.
But after rook f6, is it like black is losing one of the pawns, right?
Not really, because of the king c4, knight may come back on e5. And now you
King
have to...
d4.
Alright, I will just jump somewhere. You have to protect that pawn. I believe the only way of winning that position was to play king c4 immediately, not to allow to protect that pawn.
That's
But on the other
smart.
hand, knight e4 with knight d6. So I believe it's just a draw. So knight d7 was played actually in the board, is on the board, and I can even take on f4 if needed.
No.
Why?
Don't do that.
Oh, come on, let's agree to a draw, right? And here, of course, I can try to win, but the knight against the rook is
Not
draw.
winning.
It's
Yeah.
not winning. Of course, the rule is that you have to have the king and the knight nearby.
Yeah, and it's don't worry to get in the corner
Yeah, exactly.
because it will be anyway.
We
draw.
should see it on the board for sure.
That's good.
King e4, king b4, king d4, and king b3, for example. So the idea is that after rook b1, knight b2, you cannot go to d3 to make an opposition.
Yeah.
Knight a3, orca is still good. Knight b5 now, right? Just to tell the king to go away. King d5, knight c3 then. If king d3, after the check, I'll just go to c5. You cannot push me too far. Knight d6 played, and for example, after rook c6, knight comes back on b5.
Yeah.
Still, the king is
I think knight and
cut.
king is more or less easier to defend than king and bishop versus king and
Yeah, of
rook,
course,
because
of course.
there's this additional thing that you should choose the correct corner.
And knight e2 now, so the fork at the end will occur, and she'll just take the rook on c1. So no problem at all for black to make a draw. It's quite an easy task. Actually, rook against bishop is also quite easy to be drawn.
Yeah,
but
but
it's
depends
even
if you are in already in the
proper
wrong
corner, right?
wrong side, then it's so hard to get into the right. So we have the results already, and we can say that we have sensation in the round two. Poland hazards the team of young Polish female players just won a very important match against Cliché Chess, very strong team from France. And then we have German team.
Schwäbisch Hall.
Thanks for helping. Schwäbisch Hall won against Older Yurdu against 2.5 to 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a tie in two matches. So we have Hello Shak against Gambit Volgograd. They share the points. And as well, Ugra team against Tremblay France shared, and they have two.
Yeah, but I saw the results, and there was no draw in a single game. So
In that
all of them,
matches, yeah.
both.
Yeah, in all
Even though there are two ties, but in the match,
yeah.
every game was decisive.
Yeah, and the final one, the host team Monte Carlo beat Kiev Chess Federation Greco. So that's also a very interesting fact that Monte Carlo managed to beat Kiev Chess team, because I think they are competitions in
Yeah.
this event, and it's very important to win against your
Yeah, exactly.
competitions.
So for now, let's take a look at the results. So Ugra Team Poland Hazards, Circle de Czech, the Monte Carlo, and Gambit Volgograd have 3 match points.
Mhm.
So 1 victory, 1 draw. So there is no team. Every team has already lost some points, match points. Then we have Schachklub Schwäbisch Hall, Tremble en France, and Clichy Échec. With 2 points, and 2 more teams: Kiev Chess Federation Greco and Hello Shak with 1 point, match point, and Yurdu Odlar lost both their matches.
Yeah, they need a little
That's for
bit
now,
support.
of course.
They need a little bit support and a good play. So this is the results after round two.
Two.
We have 3 more rounds to go today, and then 4 tomorrow. So we'll take a short break now, but you will have very nice videos. So don't go anywhere. we're back. I'm Katie, this is Martin, and this is European Women Club Cup. We are in the round 3. Games has already started, so we have quickly take a look at the chess boards. So here we have the team from Ukraine versus team from Poland, who just won a very nice match against French team.
Right.
And the first board we have Maria Muzichuk against Jolanta Zawadzka.
So only Maria is playing. Anna is not playing. Anna Muzichuk is not playing in that match.
Yeah.
So only Maria.
She has she took some break
Yeah,
probably.
exactly. And we have also a change in Polish team. Anna Kubicka is playing and Alicja Śliwicka is resting. So
Yeah, in this match against Anna Ushanina.
yeah, exactly. But what was the opening? Petrov defense? Yeah, Russian Petrov defense. With knight c3. Of course, d4 is the main line here, but knight c3 is totally playable. And knight f6. I like that approach. Once I was playing, I was surprised my opponent, high-rated opponent, some grandmaster, I believe, and then I played knight c3 dc, but both of us were not satisfied with the position after the opening because it was so drawish. So we were both disappointed. And knight f6 is quite a good approach. Try to fight for a win. d4, but here I believe b6, queen d2. It's quite a complex position. Of course, the pawn structure is almost the same, opposite, right? Only e-pawns are taken off the board. It's funny, but when you play online, every day you may play in different place. Actually, the playing area may differ
Yeah.
day by day. Just like Anna was playing in a hotel yesterday. Now she plays in totally different.
She's
place.
back at home. She's back
Yep.
at home. She has her mug and she's drinking tea now. I have also that mug of Hussards.
Oh,
Yeah.
very
at home.
nice.
So she is very comfortable at home, and I hope all the best to her and her team. And we can move
Let's
to
let's
the next.
let's get back to chess. So
Okay.
Julia Antola is playing black against Julia Osmak. So two Julias are playing. So let's take a look. Here I must show it. Sorry for that, but in that I was recently playing some rapid tournament, and it was like that before. A5, b5, knight d4, knight d2, and there is a nice trick because my opponent played knight d5, and now Katie will find a solution. What should white play in that position? Do you know it?
Is it some tactic?
Yep, a trick, very nice trick.
Trick.
Not very easy to see if you don't know it.
I don't know it.
Bishop d5 is winning on the spot because of the taking e3. You have no place for a knight
Oh.
and the bishop.
Oh Boże.
It's it was played opposite sides by I believe Kramnik or somebody like that, and he lost that game. So
Beautiful. Beautiful.
few years ago.
track.
So it was in the dragon with g3, right? So it's very very nice tactical.
Nice.
Trick.
You don't expect this.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
trick.
So here, of course, black didn't fall into it. So we can see both players. They are both very young. Julka is from Poland. Julka from Poland is a little bit younger, even. But Julia Osmak is the member of the national team of Ukraine
For years.
for years already. Yes,
Yeah.
she's very talented. Still a young player. Come on.
Come on. Next one. Next young players.
Yes, Claudia Kulon
Kulon and
against
Natalia
Natalia
Buksa.
Buksa. So the average rating of Kiev team is much higher than from Polish Hazas, but as you can see, the ratings are not playing. So what happens?
That's well said.
Yeah, what happens in the game? So the bishop on h2 is is just attacking on the diagonal,
Yeah, controlling it. Then
controlling, right?
Cannot really attack b2 pawn.
And you cannot move your pawn to e5 as well. So it's quite nice that it's not standing on c1 but on h2 on the open diagonal. So the bishops like some air. So bishop b5. I believe bishop e2 is the main line that here, but even after e5, I believe black is doing fine in such a position. I don't have to do it immediately, but one day e5 will come. So bishop b5 is just against it. Here, I believe black could have taken with the queen still, and have a pair of bishops, and I still don't believe white may have any advantage at all. But of course bc is also playable. Queen b3, and actually black is thinking what to do next. Queen a5. I don't want to trade the queens. I want to push the pawn on c4 maybe, and then play f6 e5 or rook e8 e5. So we can see both players thinking. So okay, let's move maybe to the
Yeah.
next match.
We have a comment on Twitch chat.
Yep.
Agata Chess says Postrowienia. Polish?
Yes, this is Polish.
Polish.
Pozdrowienia.
So
Postrowienia.
greetings.
Oh, okay. And we have also hi everyone from Anet. Anet is a friend of Anna Muzichuk and Elizabeth Pats, and he actually did a stream
All right.
with his friends on Elizabeth's Twitch, and they were analyzing games there of Elizabeth and Anna. And he just come by and said hi. So
Very nice. One.
yeah, just write us who you support, which team do you support, and which country do you support, or which country you are. This is really not
Yeah,
good
because
to
we
know.
have actually, I believe, two teams. One team from Germany, one team from Poland, two teams from Ukraine.
Yeah, at the start we had about 43 federations.
Yes, now
From
not many of
only
them.
from around Europe, but also from
The players,
con-
yeah,
yeah,
the players, because the teams are still only from
Europe,
Europe. So I believe one German, two French, one from Monte Carlo, two from Russia, Hungarian, Azerbaijan, and I believe that's all. So still plenty of countries in play, so just tell us which one do you support. Alright, let's take a look what happened here. It's a sideline here, but it then went to the regular d4. I never like to play d4 in that position because the pawn on e4 is the knight, the square on e4 is under the attack. And here I believe black is doing quite well because of the fact that I don't have any weakness, and I just exchange the pair of bishops of black and just put the queen on e7 very nicely. Looking at the pawn on a3, the rook cannot move. Then I wanna play rook a to d8, no problems at all for Alexandra Goryachkina.
Marcin, I have to interrupt you and ask you to jump to the next position, because there is some
Two
sacrifice.
knights, yeah. Two knights are under the attack. Let's take a look how did it happen. So that's what I like with white, not to play d4, just to play knight g5. And after h6, h4, very nice. You cannot take it because then the queen and the rook will attack on h5, and there is a threat of gf. The only protector of the g6 square.
Do you know once in my lifetime I took that knight there.
Really?
Yeah, but it was not obvious that it was checkmate because queen was not on c2.
Oh.
But anyway, guys, never took that knight. It's
Yeah,
poison.
exactly here. And if knight f6, then queen c3, right? The bishop and the queen, the rook here. So never, don't do it at home. Don't take it. And knight d5. Oh,
Wow.
very nice.
So
You cannot
if you
ta-
don't take one knight, then take another one.
Yeah, but here there is a threat of giving a mate on h7 with that knight.
Can actually like defend that?
Yeah,
Knight
knight,
d7.
knight b to d7 is the only move. But no,
Is it only no?
no, I
can't.
just take on f6.
Yeah.
How will
Killing 95 is killing move.
ed, bishop c6, and g6 is the only move to protect. But then knight e6 is coming.
On
And
the screen we have Olga Giriam
I
in
believe
this
she's
position.
she's in really big troubles now against Nana Jagnidze. Knight to d5, very nice, very nicely placed. played. Here, let's take a look. Bishop f6, g6, and knight e6 is also smashing. I just take an exchange.
Look at Nana, she's so like
Yeah,
sitting like a
relax.
boss.
Yeah,
I'm winning this.
she can. She should even. So bishop b7 was the mistake. Knight b to d7 was the proper move here. But even here, knight c to e4 is still attacking. Very unpleasant move. Knight g5. That's why I really believe I don't have to play d4 because now the bishop is supporting the position, right? And behind the pawn on d4, it's not possible. So that's why I don't like to push the pawn on d. Oh, very nice. Can she handle that position? Because after g6 immediately I also can take on e6. And what's more, take here and bishop d3. Look at the pair of bishops on long diagonal, on diagonal here. It's brilliant. You cannot survive actually. It's losing for black, I believe.
Yeah.
Very nice. Because
Huge
hg,
advantage for
hg, ed, bishop f6, and g6 is not helping because of mate on h8. Severe problems of Olga Giria. Knight d5, knight g5, both of them are hanging, but you cannot take any of it.
They're monsters, they're not knight anymore.
Yeah. Alright, so the third board. The third board of the match, Yugra team against Cercle d'Echecs de Monte Carlo. So Pia Kramnik is playing black against Dinara Dorjieva. How did it come to such a position? So d5, so Catalan but rejected. a5, it's also totally playable position with the Isolani on d5, and now hanging pawns.
Yeah.
h5, I like that such move, just to attack. Not only I make a place for the king, but also I attack.
You know what it just remind me? I have a hanging pawn and I know you will attack on them, but look at I have a pawn as well, like
And
throwing the bread to
Yeah,
the
but
to the dog.
yeah, but still look that there is a repetition on moves of moves. So
None of the side wants to.
yeah, exactly.
Wants to.
But what happens if I just
It was 3
take
times
on
repetition?
d4 and knight to d? I believe 2 times as far as for now. Let's take a little b3, bishop on d7. So it was the first time. Black's on move, black's on move, and after knight a4, she can claim for a 3 times repetition.
Yeah.
So before that, I'm curious, how does it work
What?
online? Do I also have to now call the arbiter in that position and I tell him that if I play knight a4, that means 3 times repetition? Or I should make it and then call the arbiter?
No, don't risk that. Do like the federal. So first, that's what I did. I called the arbiter. I said, because you serve this other possibility that if arbiter says no, it's not like that. You can make a move and then call again. So you just call arbiter and say, I'm playing this move now, and it's 3 times repetition.
Yeah.
They agree. They check and they will agree or disagree.
But actually, I would like to play that position with white. I would take on b4, ab, and queen d2 with the idea of knight d3. So
White continue the game.
Yeah.
And he plays a3 in here.
yeah, it's also still white has an advantage here. The bishop is the pawns are blocked. I
Yeah,
can
she had to make a decision to continue. She knows she has better position with the knight on c5, but she's playing with crowning.
ta-da!
Oh, we have this game. This is beautiful.
Yeah, queen d6, bishop e7, and still I will take the rook. So what I have predicted is on the board.
Beautiful.
I should start to play in women competition somehow.
I'm telling you, first you get your work, and at least as long as mine, and then we will see. We'll talk.
There are some transplants. the only possibility, but in other sports it actually works. I have read news about the player of American football. who was male,
Mhm.
who was born a male, and then he switched the sexes and he plays in women competition. And of course, it makes no sense at all
We
because
have also a chess player.
really,
Yeah, I
didn't
don't.
know.
I cannot remember the name. I'm sorry, but it's international master. And
I didn't know actually.
yeah, for he was playing as an international master, and after some time, I think after 10 years or something, he quit, and then he started to play in a female
All right.
category. So,
Okay.
but I don't have any information now. Maybe she
Okay.
stopped playing chess now.
So let's take a look at the game of Natalia Pogonina against Alexandra Koryachkina. What happened in that position? So, I believe that black had no problems at all. Rook a to d8. Look at the position of rooks. The queen attacks on a3. The bishop is weak. Weaker than the
Oh,
knight.
we have a comment. The show is great. Thank you so much for Vinundasan for writing us a comment. We really want you to enjoy the games, and there are really amazing games. A lot of tactical motifs, and we cannot cover all of them. Sometimes we are missing the moment. So I really suggest to visit any platform, any chess platform, and take a look at the games. They
Yeah,
are
maybe
really
next time we'll start from the end, right? Not from the Hazard's team because their starting number is 10, so every time they are on the pole position. So that we'll switch it to the last. So what happens in the game of Natalia Pogonina against Alexandra Koryachkina? What happens after GF? I don't actually understand what's going on here. The bishop is hanging,
Yeah.
and maybe bishop f5.
Oh, this is good.
But
So
okay,
you
rook
covered
e5,
the
right?
queen as well, e4 at least.
Okay, so I can just take on c4 if I don't want to calculate anything, right? Actually,
Rook 8, it was not taken. It wasn't taken. She was maybe
queen
scared to
e5.
take
Alright,
it.
it's even better. She attacks both rooks, and after rook
Oh.
f7 check.
You know what is worse? When you sacrifice something, you analyze the only line, and then your opponent is actually more than you.
But on the other hand, there is bishop h7 at the end of the day. Rook a2 is a brilliant move.
Mhm.
Wow. Now if you take on f6, which was said to be smart, then I play bishop h7. You have to take, I'll take back. And it's not that easy. I believe that Alexandra Koryachkina missed the chance of white on this move rook a2.
Nice move.
Yeah, very smart, very clever. Alright, let's move to the next game, where we have Nana Dzagnidze against Olga Giria. Okay, so we have seen it already many times.
Yeah.
This nice
So Nana got the exchange
Yeah.
already, and now it's about the
Pia
technique.
Kramling is standing course against Dinara Dorjieva. Monika Sochko is playing against Baira Kovanova. So it's a Rui Lopez-like position. DE, so I believe it's very nice end game for white because of this pawn structure.
Now this is so popular. I have seen this so many games.
Yeah.
And it's interesting for me because they are first trading the pieces, most of the pieces, and they are trying to play after in the end game, most of them.
Yeah, but still I believe white has an edge in that position of even after knight a5. EF, is it possible? Oh, sorry. EF, is it possible? No, I'll easily catch that knight, that
Yeah.
pawn. So knight e3 was played actually, just to go
Knight
here.
g4 looks good.
Yeah, after fe I can go just leap here and take with the knight on e5. And if you just take on the e3 and try to play such a position, the king,
Oh, the
is cut.
gutted.
Exactly, and the rook goes here. And if
And
you
wha-
try to cut my king, I play h3 and
Yeah.
I just win, right?
Yeah, and the white king is so centralized.
Yeah, and knight f5 is a threat, so I believe white is doing extremely well. What's the elo of Monika's opponent? She's a woman grandmaster.
Yeah, she's
23, 28,
yeah,
so
she's very experienced
Yeah.
chess player from Russia, and she used to play a lot of tournaments, so she has
okay. Okay, let's take a
quite
look at the
experience.
Gambit Volgograd against Tremblay en France. Whoa, we have some fireworks at that game.
Mhm. Yeah, I told you if Valentina is in shape, she does it in a fashion way.
Okay, DC. The knight on a6 is
Um,
misplaced. Queen
I'm not quite happy to play this kind of openings with black, because then I still have some weaknesses, and this knight on e5 really bothers me a lot.
yeah.
Sometimes I wish to have a bishop on b7 just to control it.
Now look at the position that black played. Computer show it. Played back with the rook on from c8 to a8 just to protect the pawn on a7. I'm not touching
Is-
anything.
Yeah, this is
G5.
a miracle,
Yeah.
because it should not go that way.
e4. d5. White is really great, and now the square on c6. Right.
Mm.
Oh.
No, g4.
h4. Everything. It's just h5.
h5.
Mm. Nobody likes like that. She took
Oh,
one
yeah.
pawn for starters, right? And I can even
H6.
play h6.
Okay,
Okay, it's totally winning
now
for
rook
white.
comes.
2 pawns up and more active position. h6 is just winning on the spot.
Yeah.
Then rook g3, for example. Knight to d6.
It's
Ah.
already on the board. H6, H7.
All right. It was over.
It's over. Yeah.
All right. So now a game of Nandiha against Marie Sebak
Yeah, that's the first game. First result we have.
in that.
Yeah, in the tournament. The other
the
games are
round, right.
still in progress.
So it's funny because Marie Sebak, who is from France, plays for the Russian team Gambit Volgograd, and Tremblay en France players is Nandida. So quite funny story. So what was the opening? Okay, so the
Yeah, but it's not
sideline.
national
Yeah,
competition. Like,
Of course, but
there are
it's
some
quite
teams that you are playing for years. Like, for example, for Pia, she played 7 years. She played 7 tournaments in Monte Carlo. So
and won all of them, right?
yeah, I'm sure if she has a choice, she will still go, because you feel like a home, especially with the team competition. You feel like it's your home.
Yeah, especially in such a nice place. And okay, so white is just winning.
I know it's only me who thinks this way, but you're a coach. You probably notice this too. But I think it's more tension between girls in the national team rather than in team competition. Is less tension where they are from different countries.
I don't know. I don't know that thing. Okay, I focus just on chess, you know. I could have played instead of c5 queen e7, I believe, just to attack the pawn on g5 and on e6, but now rook f6 might be very unpleasant. That's why probably c5 was played, queen e8, queen b6. Not very pleasant position for black. What if I take a pawn on here? Okay, I'll just take on g5.
Yeah.
Black's position is collapsing. Queen b6, bishop a2 actually played. I can choose between b3, taking on g5, c6, a lot of choices, of good choices for white. But bishop g5, I believe.
What is the next game position? Let's check this out with bishop g6.
All right.
Too many pieces are hanging.
So it's the game also from the same match. Muminova against Salimova. Whoa. Whoa. So it is this sort of Paulsen in open Sicilian. Knight jumps to b4, takes the bishop, pair of bishops, a4, just to put the pressure on the pawns on the queen side. And now I believe c3 just takes the bishop, second bishop on e5. Very nice. If you take, I can play bishop d4. The knight is hanging, and if queen c7, then rook f6 wins on the spot. That's why black played knight d5. And whoa, what happens here? What's going on in that position? Two bishops are
I like
hanging.
this queen d7 move. It's,
Yeah.
it looks the move that White very possible missed.
But still, I believe I can even try to play rook f3. Bishop e4. I don't know.
In the game of Garechkina Pagonina, they ended in a draw, and it was quite complicated game, right?
Yeah, we can see it
You can take a
after
look after.
after
yes,
that after live games, right? Okay, so let's move to the next game. We're Hello Shuck against Schwäbisch Hall. The king stands on b3 quite. He's quite lonely. I would say there is a threat
Why?
of a,
She goes for a4 now, and
Yeah.
there's nothing, no danger.
but the
The danger is on the queen side.
on
I
the
think,
king
with
side, right? The
king side.
king is quite safe, but the pawn is just approaching. And the problem of white is that there is no many counterplay on the king, and two pawns down, and
Yeah, the problem of White is the bishop on b2.
yeah,
which
exactly. Bishop c1 may
starts-
come, but even queen e6 is good for, or queen e4 just to create some other.
Bishop a3 was played.
Oh.
Can I take it and take on c3?
Yes, you can, actually.
I think it was a blunder.
Yeah, but still, it was very hard position. Black should win easily.
Yeah, bishop c1 keeps the game on.
Yeah.
But this one,
This imbalanced position is quite interesting. How did it come? They were, oh, right. So, Petra Pap against Mari Arabidze. So, she was trying to a repetition. And now she, oh, Mari just sacrificed an exchange. Why g5? Why didn't she play rook d8 just to attack on the open file? G4, alright, still I believe it's too optimistic for black. E3 maybe now will come, bishop rook d7. Not that easy. I believe something really strange happened in the previous game. It was finished, that's why I don't see it now, but okay, let's move to the game from the Hello Shack next game. Alright, what happened here? How did the king go to g? Wow, let's take a look here. d6 f4 e5 and queen h4 check. The king is on
oh no!
the king is on the walk.
And it says that I'm not weak here. I'm feeling quite good in here.
Yeah. quite a strange game, I would say. I like
Yeah.
f5 just to make a square, a proper square for the knights. And here black stands a little bit better because of the weaknesses of the pawns, but still I believe it's not enough to win. But
Yeah, thanks to the e5 pawn, which is
Yeah.
well protected.
Okay. And the last board from that match, Titia Gara against Lilith Mkrtyan. What opening was that? Alright, so triangle setup and with calm e3. And I believe black should not have any problems at all in that position because of the activity, but still nothing very special, right? But bishop will go to c1.
If one of the bishop is off, that might be in favor of one side, but now
Yeah, but if you see the pawns on b7 and b6, they might be annoying that you have still to protect them. Bishop e3 was played just to get rid of the better bishop of black. Rook e8. How about the exchange, right? Maybe rook c1 will be played just to go to c7. Even you cannot take the pawn on e3 because the bishop is not
yeah.
protected. I will go king f2 and then rook c7. So I believe white stands better. Nice draw here. In the next match, it's the match of Clichy Eshek against Odlar Yurdu.
For the information, it's it's another sensation here now,
Really?
because Alder Yurdu, who has 0 point after 2 rounds, right now is leading with 2 points. So if this will end in a draw, that means that they
I
will
believe you-
win.
They are still fighting, but still,
Yeah.
it will be a draw. Come on.
It will be a draw
Even
for
I
sure.
could make a draw
Yeah.
in that position.
But one side is still the side of Cliche HS is still fighting, because if they stop the game now and they agree on a draw, they will lose a match. So
But you cannot win
let's-
such a position. Come
Let's
on.
say it makes sense to still play, because
In that position,
You never
it's
know.
way too much to play. But okay, I understand the situation of the team forces you to play, but nobody will.
Martin, when we say we have to play, we have that's the difference between women and men tournament.
Oh, come on.
Because there's always something like, why they are still playing?
Yeah, it's the good question. I would rather not play
And for
because
me, it's nothing. Like, okay, let's play. Let's until the end of the game, we can play.
look at those pawns. They cannot. They are not
I agree.
free.
I'm sure it will be draw, but
Yeah, but still, you should agree to that draw. That's all. You know, it's over. You
actually
didn't
both
manage.
both players are
You didn't
international
manage, yeah.
masters.
But you didn't manage to win, so okay, let's agree to the draw because it is a draw. I know
Yeah.
it. So let's go that way and just agree. No, they are still playing. That's something that is a small surprise for me. I wouldn't, you know, I would really feel ashamed to play such a position. But okay,
No.
yep.
No.
I would. I would.
You would, yeah.
Me personally, I would. But here, let's take a look at the game of Alexandra Kosteniuk against Hanim Balayayeva. White is winning because she is 2 pawns up, and the pair of bishops, and the king is weak. How did it come? Let's take a look. Oh, I like that because it was the Rui Lopez and the regular attack of white and knight f5, very nice. You cannot of course take because of the mate on g7. So after knight f5, white took and h5, alright. And f4 of course, because of that pin, you cannot do anything actually.
Mhm.
You stand much worse, and queen h6, knight f3, very nicely done by Alexandra Kosteniuk. I would say it's a classic game. The pawn on the h5 is hanging, and now I'm preparing myself to attack on the king side. The queen side is almost closed. So, yep, she took one more pawn and just winning. I believe it's over, right? No, they are still playing, but still 2 pawns up, pair of bishops, totally one position.
Mhm.
What else do we have? Totally draw. Totally drawn position here as well. I'm looking for something interesting. And here we have such a position.
Yeah.
So, how did it come that white is 2 pawns down? Right, queen b6, she took a pawn, the second one, just escaped. Took the third pawn, fourth pawn, and she has, no, 3 pawns up. She was 3 pawns up, not 4, sorry. From the school I only know how to calculate till 3, so. And here of course black is just winning. Yep. His pawn chain. I would give up in that position, but of course you have to play because it's the team competition, and online because and something more can happen. Monika Sochko is still playing that position. She's doing her best. All right. See, in that position I do agree. Just one repetition, and I see that I should play that position. That's why I'm playing further. But even that rook endgame, it was way too much.
They ended already
Luckily.
in a draw.
And that position is also playable, right? King f4, maybe g3. Even I, of course, I can take pawn h2, rook b2, and it'll be a draw, right? King f4 played. So not many games left.
Yeah, we have only 3 games. Already 2 games left. One of those are Kostyunik Alexandra and Hanim Bayaljalveva. And the second we have Petra Pep and Mary Arabidze.
Yes, but I believe Alexandra Kostyunik will easily win against Balayayeva. And bishop c5, knight f5, king f4. Just activate the king and it will be over. Yeah, bishop d5, e7, e8 is possible. e7 immediately as well. Bishop g4, everything actually, almost everything wins. Yeah, bishop d5 and if rook b5, then e7. Check. And even e8 is possible, but I believe bishop e4 and then bishop d4. No, it's just winning. Rook b5 was played, bishop on g4, which is even better. Bishop d4 now should be played. Just take on, yeah, played. So such a position occurred in a game Pap Arabidze. So I will believe that one will be the last game.
This one, right?
Yeah.
Because they have more pieces here.
Yeah.
And in the other game, we have on rook endgame, one side pawns, and here
Yeah,
it's quite easy to make a draw with
king
if
c6, king
a5,
c5.
a4 is also possible to make very easy.
that's
draw.
why here I believe now it will be faster because there is a mate on h8. So actually,
Knight e7, no, you
yeah,
can't say.
white actually black cannot do anything because of course you can take on f6. It's hopeless position because there is a threat of rook h8 mate. She gave up. So a4 ba and rook c2, right? Very nice. You just sacrifice a pawn just to have
Yeah,
target
Attack
to
now.
attack.
and you cannot defense both pawns.
Ah, what a mistake can that be, right?
Why?
Check.
Oh, my God.
No, of course, rook
Okay.
b8 was played. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And
it
rook
is.
would you play rook against rook?
Me?
Yep. Personally? If your
No.
team was losing?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
No way.
If my team loses, yes.
No way. I wouldn't dare to do it. They agreed to a draw.
Let's see if their teams are losing. If
So
their
yes,
teams-
because one of them we have 4 matches ended up in 2.5 to 1.5 and
yeah, I wanted
one
to say
3 to
that
1.
Mary will not agree on a draw for sure, but she did.
Yes.
And her team lost, but anyway, she did.
Yes, but it's the proper way of behavior, of chess behavior. Come on. See, some differences you cannot understand.
You can.
Okay, so in a
Let's-
Kiev against Poland Hazars.
Yeah, let's talk about the results. So, Kiev won after the previous loss against Hazards.
So 3-1, Maria Muzyczuk and Julia Osmak won their games. So Ukrainian Julia was better than Polish one.
And the other matches, all other matches, the results are the same, 2.5 to 1.5.
Exactly.
And the winner teams are Monte Carlo against Ugra, Hello Shach against Schach and
Schwäbisch Hall.
Schwäbisch
All right.
Hall. I think this is really sensation of the round. And then we have Tremblay and Friends against Gambit Volvograd, and we have another sensation, Older Yuldu against Klishia Chess. I think these two very unexpected results
Yeah.
just
So
happened.
after 3 rounds, Cercle d'Échecs de Monte Carlo is leading with 5 points out of 6 match points. The second place is as for now, after 3 rounds only, Tremblay en France with 4 match points and a lot of teams with 3 points. Ugra, Kiev, Gambit Volgograd, Poland Hazars, Hello Shach and Schachklub Schwäbisch Hall and 2 points. No, sorry. Schwäbisch Hall has 2 points, 2 match points, just like Odlar Yurdu and Clichy Eshek 92. So,
interesting.
as we can see, we have the sole leader after 3 rounds, but then also only one team on the second place till now at Tremblay en France, and a lot of teams with 3 points. And I believe we will come back after a short break.
We will come back. Welcome back. This is European Women Club Cup, organized by Monte Carlo Monaco Chess Club and also European Chess Union. I'm Katie. This is Martin.
Hi.
And we're having amazing chess games.
Yeah, let's go to the round number 4.
And the first team, who are the leaders? Ugra is the leader, right? So we can take a look at
I'll
their
check it.
games.
No, Monte Carlo is the
Monte
leader
Carlo
and
is the leader.
Tremblay en France.
So we know the directions then.
Yep.
Let's
Ugra is
go.
on the 3rd place now. As for now, of course.
Here we are. We have Monte Carlo, and the first board of the team.
They are playing against Gambit Volgograd from Russia, team from Russia. So Alexandra Goryachkina is playing against Valentina Gunina. Was it a Slav? Defense. Yay! The exchange variation.
Exchange, yeah.
It's quite a tricky attempt of white. Because it is said to be a drawish variation, but actually it is not. It's not that easy to equalize with black. But I believe that Valentina Gunina actually solved her problems, because now she may try even to play e5 to put some pressure on the pawn on d4 and on e3. So it's not that bad, I believe. Bishop d3, knight d3, and even now e5 can be played. Even though I will obtain the Isolani, I believe I shouldn't cry.
No one knows who is worse, d5 pawn or e3 pawn.
Yeah.
They are both
If the
weak.
pawn was on f2, alright, I will say I would have square on e4 on the other hand. So actually I believe it's about equality. Alright, second board of the same match. So Marie Sebak against Nana Džaknidze. So I believe it was a sideline of Sicilian. Yes, Moscow variation with knight c6. And if black tried to play e5 in that position, that would mean that we have a structure from the Ruy Lopez. But she played bishop g4, h3, bishop h5, g4, and now d4. So, as we can see, black probably cannot take on e4 because of d5. Knight should run away, retreat, and now we can take on e4 and give a check on a4. So I believe black just cannot take the pawn, but on the other hand, Nana Džaknidze may play d5. Okay, next, what's that? d4, knight f6, so the London. As you can see, it's quite a tricky
London
setup of
system.
Yeah, it's quite a tricky setup of black. I don't show where my pawns should go, d65 or c65. So I still put a pressure here, and h4, very aggressive move. I just want to go to g5, and even after h6 I don't have to retreat with the knight. So what we have, and the long castle. I like that game. For sure it will be some fireworks going on in that game. Here, and maybe even f3, just to put g4 and so on. I can sacrifice the knight on the 6th. A lot of things will happen here. Also a tense position on the last board of that match, where Alexandra
Maltsevskaya plays
Maltsevskaya.
against Monika Sochko.
So let's take a look at Caro-Kann defense with those both knights. And quite a calm setup of white g3, g4 is possible, or d4. And I believe that now white may have gone on e2, but then the knight on e5 is jumping, and it's very unpleasant for white. That's why knight b1 was played. And now the
All the pieces.
the bishop and the
Queen
knight,
side pieces.
yeah, is still on the starting position. But on the other hand, I have a pair of bishops, and now at the f4, f5, Knight c4, it's a very tense position. Black cannot play b5 thanks to pawn on a4. And what may happen? Rook a to e8 should be played, I believe, just to give a small pin to the queen.
Yeah.
Very, very nice, very tense position.
And I believe that for a couple of moves, none of the side will touch the
Yeah.
pawns in the center.
And look, rook went to h3, maybe to g3. Very, very nice.
Remember 2 games from yesterday where Elizabeth's opponents played rook on the 6th rank, and it
Yeah.
was she maybe liked the idea to
Yeah,
rook lift,
exactly.
and now she's doing that
Exactly. Okay, let's switch to the other match.
Too.
So we have here. Wait, I will find the proper one. So let's take a look at the game. Davletova Mkrtchyan.
So this is the team. This is the team I can't find. Can you-
Schwäbisch Hall Tremblay
Uh-huh.
Enfance, the third board. So it was the French defense with so Tarrasch knight d2. Okay, so we have this very well known endgame where white is a bit better. I believe that now, yeah, the bishop are traded, rook h2 d1, king on e7. I believe black has solved his opening problems. She will go to b7, rook h to d8. And of course it will be very hard for white to show the advantage on the queen side, 3 versus 2 pawns. c4 will be probably played, bishop b7. c4 also secures the square on d5 where the knight would like to, well, maybe not from here, but from here may jump in the may leap on c3. So bishop I believe c4 will be played in a moment. So what else do we have here?
What a beautiful pawns on the queen side.
Yeah,
But is white
Yeah.
on time to?
it's a regular variation of the French defense, classical variation. Plenty of theory, as you can see. White has to push on the king side just to attack the king, because if these massive pawns are let free, they should win. Knight c6, the pawn on e5 is hanging, knight f3. I try to play f6, then to bring the queen to attack. b3 played. I shouldn't react. I believe queen d2 is the proper move now. I have the knight on c3, maybe a3 one day. And if... Whoa!
Oh, what
F6
is
played.
that? F6.
Because of that pin, the queen is not hanging. So I want to open the position. You cannot move your pawn to g6 because of queen d2, queen h6, which is would be over.
How about take the queen on c2?
I will just catch the pawn with the second rook, and only one pawn for a piece would be too little. So we cannot actually. I believe white is doing extremely well, because if not, then f6 might be played, and after f6 it's already not possible. And I don't like that move gf to happen, maybe because of queen d2 even, and it's extremely hard for black to defend.
Yeah.
The bishop is just hidden.
Yeah, I think h6 is the most relevant defense here for
h6, right?
for black, or just not to play h6 yet, and after queen d6,
Yeah.
that's where rook b8 I
Rook
would
b8,
play,
queen d2,
and h6.
h6. All right, I'll just take it. You
Oh.
are forced to take
Yeah, I have
because the pawn was hanging, and knight f4, for example. Not a very pleasant position for black, I would say.
no. The problem is that I don't have enough pieces. Otherwise, it
Yeah.
could be okay. I can defend
The
that king, but
is very
I don't
under
have enough
pressure, right?
pieces.
okay. So, Dolita Cornet Diamante against Nandidaha.
This is the same team, but
Yep.
second board.
So close Sicilian with d6. So we have the Grand Prix attack.
Sounded good.
d4. So the other possibility is just to play f5. just to put, because of the fact that the king
Yeah.
is not yet castled, e5 and d3, for example, knight g2, e7, white's attack, white's plan is to play here.
Yeah, really
Just to
dangerous. Really,
If
really
you don't
dangerous.
know if you don't know the theory, it's really dangerous for
Yeah.
black. After fe, I can even try to play knight g5 immediately, just to attack both pawns with the bishop. Rook, knight, queen in the attack. It's extremely dangerous, but a little bit things went a little bit different. d4 immediately. Of course, white has sacrificed a pawn for a development, and so now she should press f5, I believe, or e5, and if the even after d5, just sacrifice a piece. So it's the only
Queen
way,
d8 only way.
or
only
maybe
way.
bishop c6, right?
c6?
Queen f2, then the
No,
knight.
no, no. Why not to take
I will take on f3,
and take on c5
but the rook is hanging.
after taking on f? Okay, okay. Yeah, my
No, no, no. It's, I believe it. No, all right, of course, but I believe that in such a position you shouldn't trade too many pieces, right? Because only 2 pawns for a
Yeah.
for a sacrifice material, but still e5 is really worth to be considered. d5 actually maybe, but after that move I can play queen f2 just to attack. So after e5, d5, bishop d5, ed, knight d5. Here, maybe queen d5 is also playable, just to attack the pawn. Here, here, and for example c4 or queen f2, c4. I would love to play it. Yeah, e5 is on the board,
Yeah, beautiful.
on the screen, actually.
On the screen, yeah. I would like to suggest to you to move to the game of Hong Trang against Sarah Hadam. This is Hello Shak against Kliché
Deshek.
Eshak. I said too fast. So, what is the position?
London. What a surprise. So, a sacrifice of a pawn for a pair of bishops, I believe it's not worth to do it. And now king, he said protect. I protect the pawn on e3 and the rook with the rook. Very nice.
Yeah,
c4, knight c6. Actually, I believe white is just
winning.
winning. Should be winning in that position. The pair of bishops is not playing very well. I may even consider knight queen a3. The problem with white is that the knight on c6 maybe may come under the attack. If I play d5, ed, cd, king g7, then the rooks should go to the center. So actually it was played, and I believe that now, after king g7, for example, I have some problems with white, sorry, because for example, if white tries to play knight d4, then bishop e3 check.
Oh,
King e3 and queen e5. That king is under the attack, right?
that's really, really powerful.
So
Sacrifice.
actually, king g7 was played. So now I just want to develop my rooks to e8. The knight on c6 is well placed. Probably rook h to e1 should be played just to support the pawn on e3 and the king. So very nice game. Do you have any other?
Also, very interesting structure we have in the game of Kulon Claudia and Ulvia Fataleva.
Okay, so the fourth of the Poland Hussars. Quite a nice setup that they put.
Yeah,
Claudia Kulon, who is actually one of the most experienced player, even though she's very young. Still,
she's very young.
yes, but she's one of the most
very much.
experienced.
She's in my age.
That's why I told you she's very young. So she's, even though her rating is actually higher than the.
Let me check that
yeah,
if it's higher.
23, 40, a little bit higher.
A little bit. But Fataleva, Ulvia, I've seen her playing a lot of games and playing a lot of games, and she's quite experienced, and she can show her best in some tournaments, and then she can play not so good in other tournaments.
Yeah.
But when she plays well, I have seen her playing really well.
Yeah. So let's take a look. We have the quite a nice setup with knight on e7, not on f6. with knight on f6 there would be the regular
Yeah.
queen's gambit, and with knight on e7 it's
On the
quite-
other hand, there's also bishop f5.
yeah, it's
That supports
smarter.
bishop f5. Yeah, I like
And
this
rook
actually.
g1 and now knight to g6.
Uh-huh.
I like that position with black. Queen c7 then. Why b5? I would play here just to have the f4 square.
Yeah.
That would be my choice, but of course, of course, women like to attack. So b5, b4, no strategy, just push, push.
Now this before and a5
I
is
love
too
those pawns.
slow.
I love those
Me
pawns.
too. Me too. But to look at this rook h1 possibility to attack the king, I think white black is really in trouble.
Yeah, now she might be in trouble because the the development is a little bit more important, I believe. That's why I
Mhm.
wouldn't push the pawns that are actually not attacking a king.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
taking some.
It's too slow.
Yeah. So now I believe that she wants to play c5, but the pawn on d5 is hanging. I believe it was a mistake of Claudia.
Mhm.
Oh, very nice. She sacrificed a pawn just to have a nice square on b4 for the knight.
I think she wants just to take this bishop as fast as possible.
Yeah, because
She fears that bishop.
yeah, no doubt about it. So okay, so we have also a game of Yulia Antolak against Hanim Balayayeva. Let's take a look what happened in the game. So Ruy Lopez. So the Breyer variation. I know the name of because there is also knight a5. It's a Chigorin variation and Breyer with knight b8.
Hmm.
I tried to
Very
figure out
common
how.
one, yeah?
I tried to figure out how to remember that, and when the knight goes to b, it's Breyer, and the other way is Chigorin. That's my solution for that.
I sometimes use that technique too.
And now d5, very nice move. The bishop is limited here, and the white wants to attack on the king side. So no pressure on in the center. But on the other hand, of course, black just wants to push on the queen side. And that bishop should stand on a7, not on g3. Just like in the game of Karpov against Unziker. A very well-known game. Classical, actually, game. Everybody who plays Ruy Lopez should look at it.
We understood that you know
Of course.
you know a lot there. You will know
Yes.
the games.
Because I was actually once I was showing it on the Polish Youth Academy,
Mhm.
And one of my students, now a really good grandmaster, Grzesiu Nasuta, was playing against Hungarian. In 3 weeks after that, was playing against Hungarian grandmaster Arch, and he did the same maneuver, and he was so proud of himself that he lost the game, even though he was totally winning. But he looked at me. I was just approaching, and he played bishop e7, a7. He was so proud looking at me that he remembers. I said, "Okay, come on. It was worth to show it, right?"
Nice.
But actually, it was a pity because he lost.
Yeah.
Okay, knight to h2. White has a pair of bishops. Of course, the position is quite closed, so it's not a great advantage yet. But still, f3, knight g4. I really like to play those positions with white, but I believe that here black has a counterplay: rook a1, and for example rook a8.
Mhm.
So, okay, that happened in the game. So I believe that now black is quite satisfied because I have a square on d3 for the knight. And the rook is on the open file, so I believe black is satisfied after.
Martin,
Minute,
very
yep.
interesting game. We have to quickly go to Olga Giria and Muzichuk Maria.
Mhm.
There is a rook on d7. That's how we can find faster.
Alright, I do my best. Yeah,
Here.
here.
Yes. So the final move here, white made.
Okay. Oh, very unpleasant. Maria missed a lot of things here, I believe. Rook f to d1, and now rook d7. Very, very unpleasant. Olga Giria made a really great move because now there is uncovered check and the queen is out.
Mhm.
That's why rook queen c7 is a big mistake, right? Queen e8 most probably should be played, but still after rook d7, white's done much better. I'm on the 7th rank. I have activity. I have everything.
I have everything.
Okay, I'm pawn down, but still.
You can take the c pawn back if you want, but this I think the last thing you would like to
Yeah.
consider
E6
to
check.
play.
It's smashing. You cannot do anything with black. King h6 is the only move, I believe. After rook f6, I just take the rook on f6. King h6. Played rook e7. No way. No way black will handle that. Rook to g8, the only move I'm protecting the king. I have passer on e6. Maybe just activate the rook.
Rook d1, rook d7, that's already a threat of checkmate. But I believe there will be some other ways too. I would like your attention to the next game. This is Marisa Bag against Nana Dzagnice. Really funky pawn structure we have. Here we have, yep.
I have never seen.
And you know what? Mari just was forced
How
to
did
take
it
it. Look,
happen?
she could not stand this knight here.
But how could that happen? Oh, what's going on? She took a pawn on e4. Okay, if she moves the knight, then queen a4. But here, a lot of pawns here, but only 2 of them actually. So I believe white should be better here. But the march of the pawns has begun.
Pawn is gone.
Knight e3 maybe. Knight e3, b3 was the move, right? Because here she lost one more pawn. And this... Oh, I would immediately take on d5. I wouldn't stand that position.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. She took on d3.
Yeah, cannot resist, yeah.
Yeah, but still it's, I believe, winning for...
Yeah. Today we have this round very unusual pawn structures.
And here
About
c3,
Nana,
very nice, rook d1.
today we see another very beautiful game of Nana. Earlier we saw this very nice knight jumps on g5 and then on d5, and she left no choice to her opponent rather than to give a lot of material, and it was Olga Giria. And now we see this game also. And
What
earlier,
the queen d2? I'm curious. Why did she play c3? And why didn't she play queen d2? It's also
f4, f3.
Ah, you're right.
Yeah.
But after f4, how about knight h5? Ah, queen g4 I cannot take it. Oh, what a pity you are pinned. It's winning for black, most probably. King h2 was played. Probably queen c3 is enough. Queen g4, oh, very unpleasant move. Yeah, I wanna take on h4, I attack the queen. You have to most probably exchange it, and it would be over.
Yeah.
It should be over, right?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice game.
example.
I like this game so much.
What does rook on f7 do?
Hoping for a mate.
Yeah, but actually white is winning because there is lack of material in black's position.
Yeah.
Monica sacrificed a rook on f4 and an exchange on f4, but it was not worth to do it actually. Because now she's almost forced to play rook e7.
Oh, there should be something.
Yeah, even I can give a check and after king g7, king somewhere, but I believe I will play just here. I'm not in a hurry.
Yeah, now threat is rook f8, bishop f8, and then queen h7.
Is it enough?
It's a checkmate.
No, the rook on f8 is not protected then. After rook f8, yeah?
Yeah.
But she took
It's
on
true.
e7. Oh, sorry. She took on e7, and it's also enough just to play rook f1, for example.
No, yeah.
The new rook comes. Yep, just like in the game.
Yeah, it just happened.
I don't understand the decision with rook f4. It was not forced, actually. I believe so. Rook f4 now, it's not a good. Queen d7. Of course, white is better because of the pair of bishops in the center, but still, that position is hopeless.
As I know, Monica's opponent, Alexandra, is world champion, world junior champion.
All right.
Some time ago.
Alexandra Maltsevskaya.
Mhm.
Monica is trying to find, but it's the losing position. All right. So let's take a look at the game of Marie Sebak against Nana Jagnice. So we had those pawns, those brilliant pawns. And now, oh, what happens? What happens? Queen g4 was played. She didn't want to allow, of course, to give her back.
Yeah, there's a
actual
check on e6, but
then
That's
I'll
not a
go
big
on
deal, yeah.
G7, right? Queen e5. It might be actually.
maybe on h7 instead. On h7.
But all right. Then after
Queen
check,
G7.
Queen g7, and the pawn should win, right?
Yeah.
F4. Too much. Way too much. Okay.
A very interesting position in the game of Elizabeth Petz and Nurgul Salimova.
So the next one, or
Yeah, same team. We have here pair of bishop versus pair of knight.
all right. And the pawn. Actually, I believe black is doing extremely well because this pair of bishops is much
strong.
better than, and imbalance of the pawns on the both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that happen? I'm curious. London with Long Castle. So we said that it's quite interesting, but I believe black did really good job here. She took a pawn here, right? H5. Yep. Black is much better.
Mm-hmm.
Here. Even rook f4 now, just to take. Oh, but bishop h4 was played. So there are a lot of threats. King h7, support of the king would also be nice. Knight g3. So she wants to jump on f5 if possible. g6 will be probably bishop c4, rook d2 maybe, bishop g5. Yeah, bishop c4 played. So I believe it's good for black.
Yeah. Very. These bishops are very dangerous.
Mhm.
They control all the squares.
Yeah.
All the squares.
Both sides, right? And
Yeah.
there is no counterplay on the queen side. Those pawns cannot be attacked. And
I think
rook
it's even
d2.
worse if they're like open position on the queen side.
Yeah,
It's even worse for.
here,
black.
and she can take just on f2. Pawn up, and actually she will do it most probably. Oh, knight e4 comes, so I cannot take on f2. Still those tricky knights.
Knights.
I always forget about their power. All right. What else do we have here? Monika Sochko is losing to Alexandra
Mm-hmm.
Matsevskaya.
Nana managed to win the game, and Olga Giri also managed to win. They had both winning position, and also Karina Bersumova managed to win.
All right.
They all had winning position, and it's not any surprise yet.
So
Anyway.
I thought that such a position is good for black, and I still believe it was in the game of Goryachkina Gunina. Knight a8. Why don't you go that that direction, because the pawn on hanging?
So, yeah.
But here knight on a8 does not stand very well. But okay, it's quite a nice trick just to bring
Yeah.
the knight to play.
I have to spoil the bishop. The pawn on b7 is just taken.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a problem of black.
Very nice.
in
Knight
this game.
f5
Yeah.
and knight
nice.
b7. And now she started playing, but it's actually lost position. Okay, not many games left. Do we have anything interesting?
Yeah, let's.
Very
take a
nice
look.
tactical thing in game Anna Ushenina Olga Badelka, because after queen b2 she would be mated.
Mhm.
That's why you cannot play it. And now if black takes on c8, queen c8, king here, I can even try to trick in such a way black and take the pawns. Ta-da!
Yeah, it's winning.
Should be winning, but of course, black played g6, king f8 now. Alright, nothing special. So Gulnara Dauletova should win that position against
It's
Lilith
interesting
Mukhtaryan.
position in the game of Savatska and Mamazada.
Mhm.
Too
Mm.
many pieces on
Yeah.
the board.
White should be much better
Mhm.
because she's pawn up.
Mhm.
That's for starters. Even such an small blow like rook c6, b8, and bishop a6 should be enough. I will just push the pawn to a6, but she didn't do it. She took on e8 and bishop e6, king e7, and I believe even after e5,
Yeah.
white should be winning actually.
Maybe
Maybe at
maybe rook
first, should be
d6,
safe
rook
at
bishop
first.
d5 then
Right, you're right.
to create some
But
weakness.
e5 was played, but still I believe
Mhm.
it should be enough. Okay.
Chess team from Ukraine, Greco, is struggling now against Ukra, and they have one more game of Padelka and Ushanina. We just had that
On the board.
both
right?
players on the screen and also the game on the board.
Here we have it. No,
Yeah.
it's different.
And yeah,
so-
Gunina and Garechkina, those also very important final game because now both teams need to win because the result is 1.5 to 1.5.
All right.
Yeah.
So both players should win. It's not possible yet.
And those both teams are leaders so far.
All right. Queen h4, rook a6 was played. How about taking on e3? Is it dangerous or not?
It looks dangerous to me.
But okay, there is a threat of rook e1 check.
For example, check on a7,
All right. King will go for a walk.
queen f.
King g5. I'm not afraid of taking the
Yeah, you
rook.
have so many pieces around you. Why
Yeah.
would you?
Rook f2 e5 was played g3. Where should black go? Only place that is cute is wow, look at that. G3.
G3.
I don't have a good square. I should go to g5, but then we have
F4. Yeah.
And if not, then I lose
Hmm.
the pawn on f6, which is now looking very, very unpleasant for black.
It does. It does.
Yeah, because if you go to g8, then I just simply play rook c7. The king is under the attack. So king h6 played, queen f4, then rook to g5 is the only move actually, which is not very pleasant. Okay, not many games left. What happens here?
Black has an extra 2 pawns, and we
Winning
have
position,
the
right?
end game where black is very, very much winning.
Mhm. Julia Antolak against.
This is really complicated position. Both rooks are very active. Knights are creating some danger.
But black is 2 pawns up actually. That's the point.
Yeah, that's the bad thing.
But
Bad
of
news for white.
course, I can try to just take both pawns. It was played. King g2. I can even try to take on the. No, I cannot because here and then here.
Three.
But still, I believe it's something. It's things. Rook d1 was played. I believe. Oh, she wants to take on d5.
Yeah,
It's the
we
position
will
in
have
the
that.
game.
We will have that on the board. We have that on the board actually.
Right. So okay, what else do we have? Alexandra Kosenyuk playing black against Sidonia Lazarnevida.
And also this game is very important because for the moment the result is 1.5, 1.5,
It
one
will be a
one
draw
and a
most
half.
probably.
That can end the match also in a draw.
Yes, exactly. And
Look at Alexandra's t-shirt, also very Christmassy.
yep. Isn't that a sweater?
Yeah,
Yeah, with
that
a
you have to
snowman.
have for Christmas time.
I have never had such a
It's
sweater.
time to buy. It's
Yeah,
time to
it's-
buy.
I'm in that age, you mean?
Hmm?
I'm in that age, you mean? You're
I
so
like
old, you
it.
should buy it.
I like it. I have lots of Christmas outfit. It gives you very very nice vibes, positive vibes.
Maybe. So,
You sound like Grinch who doesn't like Christmas.
I like Christmas, but I don't like to feel fat. I really believe I would feel fat, being fat, really fat in that sweater,
Oh,
just like
you
a
are not.
snowman.
Come on. You know you are not. Where is the rook? Rook disappeared there. How is possible? Black had the rook, yeah?
Yeah, but after 95, it turns out you have to give away the knight.
Oi, that was a blunder.
Yeah.
It was the game with 2 pawns
Yes.
extra for black.
But here after king d4, we have knight e2 and king c4. So actually,
Oh,
it turns out that Julia Antolak will win the game. And what about the result in the
let me check.
Hussars?
Let me check. So far they win. They won. They won 2.5
Alright.
to 1.5. They won.
Thanks to Julia Antolak,
Yeah.
win victorious.
Thanks
So-
to Balayeva, her opponent, who just blundered the
Alright,
rook.
rather that
Yeah.
yes, it's a pity. But okay, we have the last game of the round number 4. Alexandra Kosteniuk is doing her best. Her opponent, of course, as well, but still, I believe it should end up in a draw. To be
Yeah, it
honest.
should end up in a draw, but I think Alexandra is trying to win
To
because
push, right? But still, it's
because her team needs to win. They their team are
that we-
strong.
Here we have the,
The
repetition, actually.
average rating is stronger, so
It's going right. But
have
still, we have
repetition.
the repetition of the moves now. Yeah, she's doing her best, but the bishop is on the one side is not doing that good work. So I don't believe she may manage to win even after our rook b4 was played. So I would play bishop d7, just waiting for knight rook to e4. Oh, she did it. But of course, it's nothing even after rook c4. But if you don't try, you cannot win, right? Such a position I would play till the last man standing on the earth. But rook and 2 pawns against rook and 2 pawns, it would be too much.
okay. You try at least two more moves.
That position?
Rook and game.
No.
I'll remember that.
Knight to g3, so she wants
Knight
to
will
jump.
get on h5. Well, there will be no problem at all.
She will be mated on g3 with the king. Here, 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 here.
You're trying all the ways to win here with black. Rook f4 was played and king we have on g1.
Oh, of course, it will be a draw.
Yeah.
So what do we have here? The result of round number
4.
4.
So the winner teams are Monte Carlo from Monaco, Poland Hussars, and Ugra.
Yes, Ugra against Kiev. So
And we have one game in a tie, one match in a tie,
yeah, Tremblay en France against Schwäbisch Hall,
and
also
second.
Hello Shak against Clichy Eshek.
Yeah, that's the end
90
of today's rounds. Let's take a look at the standings.
Right, so Monte Carlo, Cercle d'Échec de Monte Carlo is leading with 7 points out of 8 match points. Then we have Ugra team with 5 points, together with Tremblay en France and Poland Hussars. And then a lot of team with 3 points, Kiev Chess Federation, Gambit Volgograd, Schach Club Schwäbisch Hall, and Hello Shak. And with 2 points, Odlar Yurdu and Clichy Eshek.
For you are doing the French classes to us, InfoShach just read it as. Do you know what does it mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so it means that InfoShach was streaming on Twitch,
All
and he now he sends his viewers to us. So thank you very much,
Thank you.
InfoShag, for that. And here we have the first comment, Cześć Marcin i Kati.
Cześć, cześć.
Okay, second comment I cannot really read. Yeah, I cannot read. But it's
Alright.
about the Polish team, I guess.
Wjechała husaria.
So the Khazars came in.
More Polish people
Yeah,
came in.
exactly. So the horses are riding. Right,
Mhm.
this is the ride of Khazaria. So as you can see, I believe it was the last game of the last round of today.
Yeah, today.
According to the schedule, we will have 5 more games tomorrow,
Yeah.
decisive. But still, as we can see, Cercle de Chèque Monte Carlo is leading with 2 match points advantage.
I told you they created this beautiful cup to keep it at home.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to give
Yeah.
it away. And then Ugra team, Tremblay de France, Poland Hazards with 5 match points. So still we have a lot of play tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
So please come tomorrow, but the time is a little bit different. It's
yes,
at
exactly. It's very
2,
important.
2 p.m. So
According to schedule, of course.
yeah, according to the schedule. And please come and support the players. And it is also worth to mention that 23rd of December we will have the closing ceremony of 2 European Chess
Yes.
Union events, Blitz Championship and also Club Cup. So I invite for that too. And bye for today. See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.